Hey gang, it's Fillmore. For those of you who are jonesing for the extra Sunday episodes, no longer available on YouTube, you can access them on patreon.com/JimFix, JIMFIXX. If you sign up for the Whiskey Sobbing Computer Board level at $2.50 a month, you'll have access not only to those extra Sunday episodes that are no longer available on YouTube, but you will get 50% of the Patreon content going forward. If you would like full access to all Sunday episodes, all Patreon content, including the last 32 episodes or 33 episodes produced thus far, just sign up for the Black Kluge $5 level or higher. If you want to give us more money, you are more than welcome to. For those of you who don't do PayPal, or Patreon rather, we have a PayPal address as well, johnnythegreek21@gmail.com. For those of you who cannot get Patreon to work and would like to use PayPal as a method of monthly payment, we will only accept donations from the Black Kluge level or higher. And privately, personally, we will send you all the episodes on Patreon and the missing Sunday episodes, of course.
I can do that.
Raise your right hand and say, I swear on the Lord Jesus Christ I'm not fucking Robin.
Well, I swear in the Lord Jesus Christ, I'm not fucking Robin.
Okay.
I really think that that was a confession that she's fucking him.
How?
She mentioned the charity.
Well, hey, I
she
start.
mentioned that charity. She just wedged that in.
What? Hey, I'm starting a foundation. That means that she's screwing the guy.
No. This has been a long time coming.
Yeah, but she's mentioned him 100 times before, so why is this the announcement?
Because, okay, a charity, when you go into a charity with one person, that's almost like making a baby.
Robin, the 34, I think, should go up to 44 on the narcissistic chart, because I can't really exactly remember what Howard said, and she goes, oh, thank God for people like that, and she was completely referring to herself.
John, hi. Big wrap-up show yesterday. I heard Robin on the wrap-up show with her. Guatemala, 15 Foundation. You know what? I'm resenting the 15 Foundation.
Why are you resenting it?
I don't know. There's too much 15 Foundation on the air. Everyone's afraid of you around here, from what I can tell. Because people are like, I go, so don't give any money. And they go, oh, no, I better give money.
The bigger issue here, even beyond today, is that Robin's charity's totally taken over the office. Whether it's on air, where she's slipping in charity stuff into the news, whether it's Sal and Richard, whether it's me looking up contacts, whether it's her assistant that's just dropped in the middle of the office when no one knows who she is, if she's in and out of Tim's office. It is, there's more charity work going on here now than radio work.
What's the big deal?
Well, the big deal took up an hour on the wrap-up show.
You know what? I said I didn't want to get into this conversation. Goodbye, Jason.
Well, Jason, I don't know what to say. I do. I think
I don't want to have this conversation.
She's upset. Okay. She wanted to talk to you about it.
You know what? I just have to respectfully quit this job.
Right.
Because I'm just a torturer to everyone here. I'm a miserable cunt who doesn't even say good morning, apparently. And what are we supposed to be talking about?
Listen, he wants more from you.
I'm done.
You're not
I'm done.
You wouldn't leave.
Yeah, and then, we were having a great time. It was a good evening.
Yeah. And then something bad happened.
Information that really rocked me, and it just fucked my weekend.
I could guess what it is, but I'm not gonna. I think I probably figured it out.
Really? So, yeah.
Somebody betray you?
It felt like a betrayal. Yeah.
Welcome, everybody, to QF, a podcast about Howard Stern. You know who this is. I don't even need the intro, but it's Jim Fix anyway. And welcome to Sam, of course, wearing her Shuli duds. How are you, Sam?
What is it? I'm wearing Shuli duds? For real? I'm wearing my 90s hairstyle.
I thought that was, oh, no, it's not. When you first got on, the light was still being adjusted, and I thought it was the Shuli jacket that you wore, the Howard 100 one, the yellow one.
This one, no, I'm not wearing the gold jacket today. Today is just like a tan suede trench jacket.
That's where she puts the guns in. You need one of those long jackets.
That's right. I'm always packing.
We are
absolutely nothing.
You're packing more than Robin packed in the marathon when she was running.
I would shoot myself in the foot in 2 seconds.
You've said you're not a runner. Were you never a runner?
Yeah, I could never run. I have knob knees, like they turn in. I was born with like knees that turn in. So I don't run because it looks embarrassing. So someone criticized you when you were running once and told you that because you wouldn't have known from, you're looking down when you run. I did a spirit assembly in high school and somebody said, why do your legs run like, what is happening? And I was like, really?
So they give you a complex for the rest of your life about running.
Oh, yeah. I'm not running.
Okay.
I love to dance. I'm a good dancer. I can't run worth a shit because I look like a maniac. It's weird because when your knees turn in, what happens to your legs? They run out. Your legs go outward.
Well,
so they don't run in a straight line.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, it looks a little, if you look from a certain angle, it might look a little odd. At any rate, Robin, we did some of the research, guys, about the marathon stuff. We are trying to this is going to be the last episode of 15 Foundation, so apologies if it's too long, but if it's 2 episodes cut up or one big one, this is going to be the last one. So,
speaking of running.
So the first clip is called Robin Quits the Stern Show. We're on May 27th, 2010. After this, there's a massive drop-off in 15 Foundation stuff. And so, yeah, go ahead.
I just got to say, I'm so glad we've got to this point. It's been so long and we're finally at like the pinnacle,
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
And it's episode 10.
So enjoy, everyone.
It's not episode 15, unfortunately. We couldn't swing that, guys. Sorry.
Scott says after 25 years working together, he doesn't feel like he really knows Robin or is any kind of friendship with her.
Nobody here has a friendship with Scott. I mean, who's he kidding? Go ahead. Yeah. He so wants friendship.
Oh, my goodness.
Didn't you go home with him in 9/11 and you said it was horrible?
He was very gracious to take me home.
And you said you couldn't wait to get out of there.
Scott wants friendship. I mean, guys, why would anyone want friendship after 20 plus years and taking you home after a terrorist attack?
God, the shock absorbers in Scott's car must have taken a real hit that day. Fuck.
What a piece of shit.
Well, yeah. And the other thing is, I should have prefaced this. Sorry, guys, because I don't know how far you've been in the saga or not. Most of you are caught up. But in the last episode, we tapered off the last bit of it where she told Jason, goodbye, Jason. And that was the 25th or 26th of May. So this is leading up to a whole week of fuck Robin and fuck 15 Foundation. And that's this is the ultimate reason why you never heard more of it on the show.
Plus, she's already heated from all of everybody. So it's a combination of everybody being upset and being free to speak about how upset they are with the bullshit going on with the 15 Foundation. Finally, Howard seems to be not giving a crap about how it's being talked about. And he's letting it fly freely. So then we have that. Robin can't put out the fires. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet hole at this point. So she's aggravated. So this is just the brilliant pinnacle.
I have a real quick question. So this is Lisa G coming in to tell this quote unquote story. Do you think this was, I know obviously it was deliberate because Lisa G wanted to give this story, but do you think there was malice behind it? Or do you think she just thought she'd, make some drama for the air and that's what they're really about?
Well, I think that there was so little that they could cover regarding what else is going on. Okay. I mean, in the Stern Show world, do you know what I'm saying? They can't really cover Howard's personal life anymore. That got the kibosh.
And Artie's gone, so there's not that whole half of the show is gone.
And that was a huge part of the news because obviously everything he was doing was news and nobody put a stop on that. So, you're left with a whole bunch of nothing. You got to cover that.
Artie leaving really was like you left the house for work, and when you got back, all the sofas and chairs and tables were gone.
Seriously, it was like a divorce.
Yeah,
it was Brutal.
She took the ice cube trays.
She did. He did. Everything.
Everything. Lock, stock, and fucking comedy bone.
Even the baking soda in the back of the fridge. It's all gone.
Yeah.
I spent the rest of the afternoon figuring out how to get away.
You know, Robin, now that we're in the car together as a result of the 9/11 tragedy, I was wondering if you'd want to open up to me.
Did he have anything to say to you in that car ride?
No, it was three of us. Steve, the engineer, was with us too.
Oh, I don't know how Scott would get a fucking word in edgewise with her with Robin's in the car. There's no room for anybody to talk.
I mean, what would you talk about? We just had one of the scariest things that happened to our country. What are you going to say?
Scott, have you mastered the 7-10 split yet?
How's your dating life going? I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, he's a conversationalist. Oh, so the three of you were in there, and you just wanted to get the fuck away from Scott, right?
And then there was no way for me to get home after I went all the way to Jersey
Get
with
away
them.
from
And so
Scott. You want to get away from the terrorists.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You want to get away from the asbestos.
That was awful, man. Jesus, that I know. They're making light of it. Okay, it's 10 years later, whatever, fine, or almost 10 years later. But I mean, you have to shit on Scott even for this, really?
No, but Fillmore, think about this. If you were downtown working, okay, and you're wherever you are, and say it's a couple blocks away from you, right? You are so appreciative of whoever would take you away from that situation because you don't know what the remnants of that are.
Yeah.
That's 3 major buildings fell down. I mean, and you just have no idea what would come after that. Of course you should be appreciative. No, you're going to be upset because you're in a car with Scott? No, you'd be like, thank you, God.
Even if it was Scott Engineer, who, he's not, I don't know, he's not a charming raconteur, but at least he's doing you a solid and taking you home when you can't otherwise get there. Just be grateful, you fucking bitch. Jesus.
I was stuck with Scott, and I spent the rest of the afternoon going, all right, how do I get out of here now?
Yeah, you didn't care. Tragedy, schmagedy. I'm getting out of here.
The terrorism struck the World Trade Center and me.
So he's upset with Robin because...
Yeah, but I mean, the reason why she had to lose weight was because of 9/11. So why should this not be about Robin as well?
I'm sorry. Can we put her up on the 92nd floor?
It's awful.
Why?
Well, he says, despite Robin entering his studio every morning to give him the news clips, he says she just comes in, gives her the clips and leaves. They don't talk. Scott says Robin has never invited him to anything, and if she did, it would just be to use him.
Well, he's got to understand too. She's busy working. It's a rush time. You can't sit.
Isn't this like the Gary Tracy thing? He's working, like they're busy, that kind of bullshit. This is what he's trying to spin it as, because he knows she's going to get pissed off now, and of course she does.
He knows she's bubbling and blowing, and just the way Lisa just delivered the news,
matter of factly. It really wouldn't have been much different if she says, Scott says that Robin is a big, smelly, fat cunt. And of course that, like if you just said it in the evening news, it would be no different. The cadence would be just the same if you just swore and cursed like a sailor.
It is plain speak.
Okay, so you're going to hear it from the newswoman herself. So just the real newswoman, not Lisa G.
You know what? I just have to respectfully quit this job,
right?
Because I'm just a torturer to everyone here. I'm a miserable cunt who doesn't even say good morning, apparently. And what are we supposed to be talking about?
Listen, he wants more from you.
I'm done.
You're not done. You wouldn't leave.
I've had it.
I've had it. You're not leaving. Go ahead.
I'm leaving today. You guys can do the show without me.
You're not
leaving.
She's cured.
Oh my God. Where's the ice cream truck when you need it?
Well, okay. Have you ever? This is quite a quick question. I know I hate to do this, but have you ever been in a work situation where someone literally had to walk away to get things were getting so heated they had to walk away from their job. Yes.
I had a situation. No, I had there was this older woman who hated things that sense, like any smells. So if like we couldn't, like there were signs that were literally put because she complained to the union. So like nobody could wear perfume, cologne, anything at work.
Yeah.
So that there were signs posted and everything. Well, she smelled somebody wearing cologne, and it was this one person who worked there for a while, and she didn't get along with him. Well, he walked by her at the time clock, and they didn't get along in general. And she goes, "I curse the day you were born. God have no fury." And she was going crazy. She went ballistic. She retired in a week. She was about to retire. She was going to give herself about 6 months. After she did that speech, she shortchanged it, and she retired. Jeanette, she retired the next within that week. That was it for her. She blew her gasket and retired.
Was this lady Southern?
She was from the South, but then she moved to the North. She was older, African-American lady. She was hysterical. I adored her. She hated 95% of everybody she worked with. I was one of the people she didn't hate. I thought she was hysterical. She always said, "Morning, honey." And she liked me. Everybody else got a look of hatred, and she go, when she walked, like she just was a miserable person. But I got a kick out of it because she was nice to me, but miserable to everybody else. And then she blew up.
Okay, so as a parallel here, like Robin, like, okay, she's insufferable during the 15 Foundation, but do you imagine that even in 2010, 2009, she's a bit of a holy terror in general to work with anyway, no matter who you are?
I think she's probably a terrible person to work with in general, and I think that she was probably the worst when the truth started coming out about the 15 Foundation. Her relationship with Brendan started crumbling. Mm-hmm. She knew that this was going to be whole hell embarrassing because it had to do with Anne Marie. So you know that there's office chirping going on around you.
Most likely.
It's not just this interaction that bothers her. Like we could just take this at face value and be like, huh? Why are you leaving your job? Nah, it's not that. It's the fact that you know so much is going on behind your back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and this is, again, she doesn't want to ever be seen as the evil person or the bad person. She's more than happy to push on someone, to jump on somebody else. But so Lisa gets a little contrite here. Yeah.
Isn't that funny that you said she doesn't want to seem like the evil or bad person, yet she's saying, oh my God, but I also was in a horrible situation because I had to go home from a terrorist attack with Scott.
With Scott of all people. Yeah,
You're
exactly.
not helping your case.
Right.
You say, stop it.
You know, Lisa and her fucking stupid news report, like this is news.
Robin.
This is an example.
Robin. Robin. What are you doing? She's being silly.
Really?
What was this?
It's all taken out of context. When somebody comes up to you
Robin,
and goes,
what are you doing?
Listen, Robin, you got to take it into what?
Yeah, that was no joke. She walked out. I only wish I had the video, guys. And at one point I did, but it's a long time ago. I think they've scrubbed it for good reason. But I've never.
This is the Philadelphia book signing all over again.
Yes. And then I think in around 2000 or so, they were mocking her for having done her news while she was in Aruba or something. And she put together her news. And then she came in and Jack is going, yeah, it must be really hard on the beach to write, news stories. And she got all fucked off and she stayed, but she wouldn't speak. Remember?
I love that clip. I love that day. And she goes, I have to bring it. I have to bring it. I have to take it with me. I have to do my work. Like, what are you talking about? It was the most embarrassing. It was the most embarrassing plight for working. Yeah. Why are you bothering? Just say you're fucking off.
Yeah, exactly. So, but as far as her walking out, there's not too many other examples I can think of offhand, but she's definitely, blown a gasket like this more than a few times. Either way, Scott's going to come in. He's going to try to explain his thing, and Lisa's going to feel bad, but I know she's like, gold, 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 gold.
You know what's weird is she didn't walk off when they were making fun of the charity.
No.
Right?
Or the trip to Guatemala, like.
Yeah. The important stuff, the important things that could have sullied the project that was going to bring funds to underprivileged people, supposedly, that was fair game. And she had no problem with that. But this, no.
Nope.
Lisa comes in and goes, "What do you think of Robin?" I go, "Robin's nice. Do you have a friendship with Robin?" No. I'm answering the question she's asking. Does Robin say anything to you when she comes in and gives you the news? No, she doesn't say anything.
Right.
So I'm just saying what she's asking me. I'm not complaining. I wasn't the one that volunteered the information.
Lisa's eyeing Robin's chair right now.
Stop it.
So
this was her plan.
She started the thing by coming and asking me questions about Robin. Like, I like Robin. I mean, but the questions were all slanted.
Okay, a little bit more.
Towards how come
it wasn't slanted towards anything, and I didn't hear anything that you said, "I like Robin." There was nothing like that on the tape. There
was no question like, "Do you like Robin?" It was all like, how come you don't?
I don't think. Well, good. All right. Thank you. All right. Robin obviously hurt by this.
Wow.
All right. Thank you.
It's funny. If you listen to Howard's tone of voice, he sounds fucking giddy like a kid in a candy store.
I was just going to say he sounds so amused.
You know that kind of that when he goes, "Yeah, she's upset." Yeah, it's like he's ready to fucking make the glaze.
Because you can tell the difference of, for example, when we listen to the Abelo interview.
Yep.
When he says, I don't really think this is interesting. I don't really, he's not amused. You can totally tell a difference in his voice when he's feigning, but he's giddy as fuck. Like he knows, I can't wait to prick this nerve some more.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he is. And what was that one line he used? I don't know. It was Artie was in there. And he said something like, it was early Artie days. Like I think he might have been even been in as a guest. And he goes, "I love out of control people. I love it."
Oh,
so
yeah.
So he's never. It doesn't really affect him, except for the fact that he's going to have to deal with her because he's the only one that's going to deal with Robin. Like he's the only one that's able to tell her, "Look, come on, whatever," and placate her and she will do it because she's a pussy inherently anyway.
If it was Robin seriously leaving, let's say back in the day when he needed her to, step and fetch it when he was, in career peril, that would be a different story. But now, nah, he's totally enjoying this.
Oh, big time.
Well, you got any other news?
Anything else to make somebody else walk out?
Yeah. What else you got?
I'm very upset.
Well, the news must go on, my dear. What else do you have?
Oh, this was something that was reviewed with other people, so I just feel badly.
Any other Colin Quinn stories?
No.
Okay. A little bit more.
No. All right.
All right. I will tell everyone that next week is Wasted Week. Jeff the Drunk hosting the greatest drinking moments from the Howard Stern Show. It starts Memorial Day on the Howard Stern Show.
How interesting. It's Wasted Week, Jeff the Drunk, and then you think and fast forward to the summit. We have pictures of Jeff the Drunk. Yeah, that might be funny. We got to take that down. That's got to go. That can't be. It's so you marketed your whole brand on these Wack Packers, an entire identity for 30 plus years. And then suddenly you're lambasting the people for not understanding the brand that you marketed for 30 years. That's coherent.
It's also ironic that while we're hearing this promo for the Jeff the Drunk Wasted Week or whatever, Robin's pictured in this particular video clip with a big glass of wine in her hand. But you guys are not going to see it, but I'll see if I can put a picture in the Patreon or what have you. But one thing I wanted to say, it's interesting. Do you think, on that note, do you think it was basically after Artie left, they went extra hard on the Wack Packers for just extra content and then burned out the golden egg, the goose that laid the golden egg with the Wack Packers, and they should have tried to get newer Wack Packers or just, I
think they probably wanted money.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely part of it. But do you think also just in terms of overexposure and having some of the Wack Packers come in way too often? Because now it's certainly a regular to have Debbie the cum lady in and not so much Wendy the slow adult.
You're saying having Wack Packers on as like an organic thing. Now they have Wack Packers on as like almost like a Real Housewives of something. It's a scripted reality show. Sure. So that's different from when they had them on back then and checking in. And Shuli even said, as a Wack Pack wrangler, that was his job, and he used to actually go on site and do the job and really talk to these people, or like what was her name, the Snoopy lady or whatever, underdog. Sorry, Snoopy lady, underdog lady, underdog. So I think that it was entertaining because it was organic. Yeah, and I think they wanted to get paid more. I think that it took staff away. That meant that they would have to pay other staff then to help with the show. Because then they had to have more people with the Wack Pack doing bits with them. So that's taking away more people and more money and more time. So then they were like, you know what? Let's just shift this. How are we going to... Let's pay a bunch of millennials to write shitty comedy bits for exactly what we want. We're going to turn the Wack Pack into a staged reality show that's already script pre-written. They can maybe say 2 or 3 things off the cuff. We know where it's going, and that's it.
And not only that, if it's scripted enough, you could actually practice the exchange with someone and figure out roughly how long it's going to take eat up of your show. That way you could actually run your show like a watch. And he never used to do that when the show was good.
Right.
Like he used to eat into some other show. He used to eat into the wrap-up show sometimes, because the wrap-up show used to be anywhere from 15 minutes to 45 minutes or to an hour. And that was all time that he decided, no, I need it a little longer. We're having fun with Gilbert in the news. Let's keep going. And Gary's like, okay, we got 7 minutes to wrap up. That's it. Wonderful.
Right. And even think about it with Beetlejuice. That's how you know that they couldn't keep going with the Wack Pack, because the Wack Pack demanded more. Either some of them got representation. Or they got a clue. Channels.
All right. Thank you, Lisa G. And I will take a break. I will go see how Robin is doing. I will check in on her. Good luck. And try and keep everyone up and together.
Okay, guys, the next clip is actually Robin getting kicked out of the U.S. Open from September 3rd, 2010. As some of you know, the U.S. Open starts in, I think, the last Thursday or last Monday. I might be confusing it with Thanksgiving. The last Thursday of August. And she had day tickets to the U.S. Open. And there's a famous picture of her and Brendan Murphy looking like very not pleased in the stands during the day tickets. And what I looked into it, basically what it is you have a certain amount of time. I think you get about maybe 3 matches during the morning and afternoon, and then there are maybe 2 matches in the evening, but they're priced differently, of course. And they're like anywhere else. If you have concert tickets for this concert and there's another one like next lined up in the same venue, it's not like, oh, I can stay overnight and watch that concert as well. She overstayed and was a rude asshole, and she just acted like, oh, I don't know, it's like anything else. No one told me I had to leave, even though it's on your fucking ticket.
It's like a festival. You have, you can't do that.
Right. And if you have specific, it's like tier seating and all that bullshit. So, and then you guys listen to it. It's actually one of the most obnoxious she's ever been on the show because she claims someone, she heard the N-word being thrown around. Yeah, at the U.S. Open. Right. Come on.
You know what? I think if this happened in maybe the political climate or something that we're in now, maybe Robin could get away with this shit.
Yeah.
Because I could see how this could happen. But back then, not a chance. What your ticket said was what it was. And it didn't have any less or more to do with who or what you are, what you look like. It's the fucking ticket and what you paid for.
So she often went to the U.S. Open and she took Ralph sometimes. And the reason why we're concluding this is because Brendan was with her for this particular thing. So it wasn't 15 Foundation exactly related, but the 15 Foundation people all went with her for this. So.
Well, I was busy being thrown out of the president's
the president's suite.
U.S. Open.
What do you mean? What happened?
Well, it was kind of weird because I had day session tickets to the suite, and
how do you get those?
A friend got them for me who's on the board.
Her and Howard were those friends. Yeah, and it's weird. I'm bummed out.
Word.
Oh.
And so we were invited for the day, but, I was working last week and, got there a little late. And so I saw the end of the final day match and then ran into some friends. I saw John McEnroe there, and I told you I saw Star Jones and her boy.
Okay, so she missed the first couple matches because she was working and she had to go late. And then she decided I know the mentality. She decided, I have day tickets and I paid good money for them or somehow whatever. I'm going to get my fucking day's worth. So I'm sticking around longer until they kick me out. That's exactly what happened.
Boyfriend.
Well, you've got some friends. I mean, these are famous friends. Look at you.
No, I'm not friends. I just know John from having done the show. So I said hello.
God.
And, Star and I started talking, and Rob Thomas was there from Matchbox 20.
Look at you.
Here we go. So we're just standing there talking in the suite, and they were like, well, we're sorry that you didn't get to see much, but, we're fully booked for this evening, so you'll have to leave.
Right, which is what they do. They usher people out when they don't realize they're supposed to fucking leave.
I don't get how, because you know people, you don't think that time exists anymore.
That's exactly it. Time, rules, behavior, they're all relative.
Now, I can understand if you're at a club at 2 a.m. or something and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how late it was. My ride's here. Something like that. This isn't that. This is Wimbledon.
It's the US. It's the U.S. Open.
Oh, but it's the U.S. I'm sorry. It's the U.S. Open. You're at a daytime activity.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares who's here? You already even said pre-going there that you knew that you got there late.
Mm-hmm.
So you full well fucking know what you're doing. Who cares? Rob Thomas.
Star Jones.
Matchbox 20. Give me a fucking. I'd leave just on that note.
Yeah, well, I mean, Christ, all you need now is Dave Matthews to come in and then you need to get firebombed. I don't know. I think.
Should I mention Jack Johnson, or are you going to jump out of a window?
Why not? Fucking Jack Johnson, throw him in there too with a bit of napalm. I could be happier with a pig and shit, and maybe a little Adele. I'm getting fed up with her these days and her diva bullshit. Great voice.
Oh my God. She
annoys the fuck out of me.
She can't. I watched some video. This poor girl has tried to see every Adele show, and she, unfortunately, every time she goes to see her, has canceled on the show. And this Las Vegas show was the day before. They have had an entire Coliseum.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it would be like Britney Spears canceling a Coliseum. You know what I mean? It's a residency.
Well, these people had to make travel arrangements, hotel arrangements, unless they're lucky enough to have someone who lives in town they can bum a room off of for that night, whatever. But most people, the average person,
it's a lot of money.
Pay for the fucking tickets, which I'm sure did not cost, peanuts. And then you're in the nosebleed section, and on top of that, she cancels.
You have to pay for the tickets. You have to pay for, most people don't live in Vegas, so you have to pay for the flights. You have to pay for the hotel. The plane tickets alone, with what fuel is costing right now, have to be astronomical.
I'm certain,
so travel's a pain in the ass right now.
Yeah.
So you do all of that shit, and then she cancels last minute, and because she cries on Instagram, you're supposed to feel sorry or something.
Oh, God, yeah. I'm like, you
the day before.
Yeah.
No.
If it were me, and I would hurt, like if I were her PR agent or whatever, her manager, I'd say, you're not only going to refund, you're going to play a fucking free concert for these people. They already paid their money. So it's not free, number one. And when they come back, you're going to give them like each, I don't know, $500
autograph,
something. You're going to sign, you're going to do, it's a PR nightmare. So the only way to do this is go over the top and make it a spectacle. She signed, 50,000 T-shirts or whatever the fuck, and hand out free T-shirts. Like, so there's cheap ways to do it, and there's easy PR ways to do it. Anyway, I love her. I love her singing. Not so much all of her songs, but the behavior I'm hearing about her. Fuck her.
Yeah, very Robin.
Yeah, it's a very Aretha Franklin-ish.
And I wasn't trying to stay, but, we just kept talking and talking. And then Star says, oh, come on, let's have dinner. And they have this whole dining room there. So we wound up having dinner with them, but we didn't know, I guess we weren't supposed to go have dinner.
Yeah, what do you mean? I didn't know we weren't supposed to have dinner. You knew full well your fucking tickets were good for a certain time.
There's a time on the ticket. When the time is up, you go.
That's right.
Lady.
Yeah. She's like that house guest. Was it John Lovitz, the house guest that wouldn't leave or something? He does SNL sketch. She's like that. She's like, I'm staying here. I'm getting my fucking day's worth, even if I came 2/3 of through the session.
You know what? Put it in this, picture this. You're in high school. You have lunch and you decide, you know what? I like this person who's in this period. I'm going to stay.
Yeah.
Fuck economics. Screw statistics. I think I'm going to stay for another taco for this period.
Right.
No.
Right. And the teacher's supposed to say, oh, okay, yeah, no problem. Enjoy the taco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go. You're there for this time, lady.
And on the 15 Foundation's dime, which it happens to be hers, I believe, based on the donations, she put in 50 G's of her own money into her own charity, which is what you should do if you start up a charity. But I mean, oh my God, the subsidies. I love. We'll have to revisit the financials later when we finish this one up at the end, because the trail off of the fucking 15 Foundation is even sadder than the whole idea, the inception of it. So. Let's go with a little more.
But we're sitting there talking and laughing, and everybody's having a good time. And I guess this caused a commotion in the suite because they were like, oh, my God, they're still here.
You wouldn't leave. Like you moved in.
Yeah, we were like,
because there's...
wouldn't go
But
away.
why would you assume you had to leave? You had tickets to be in there, so why should you assume you had to leave?
But, there's the definite day session and night session kind of thing going.
Because there's reservations.
Yeah.
So... you're taking up a table for guests who have time periods who would like to frequent the place that you're sitting. You fuck.
And also the staff they need some turnaround time so they can clean up perhaps or straighten it up so that, the people that are coming in they're not looking at, the end of a fucking bender, like at the end of a fucking tailgating party. So like, who knows what it looks like? You have to clean up, or like stupid serviettes are on the floor, all kinds of little shit that happens, and unbelievable. Like it's just the height of narcissism. I guess
like for example, I remember I had a cabana in Las Vegas for when I was at a hotel, and we had it for a certain amount of time.
Right.
Could you imagine if I just decided to say, fuck it, I'm going to stay, even though this other person paid thousands of dollars for the same cabana and it's their time?
Right. Well,
but
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not racist, it's not nasty, it's just protocol.
It's business.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, shouldn't the confession be, I lost track of time, I was having a great time, my bad, I'm really sorry to the U.S. Open people, because they could be listening also, and maybe next time give you shit next time you want tickets, and completely say you're not allowed to be here.
Well, see, that could be understandable. I mean, I think she was trying to pull some shit.
Yes.
But if she would have came off like, I am so embarrassed, I feel really guilty about this, and I made a situation that is super unnecessary, and I feel bad for the table that was coming in and trying to sit down and whatever. Yeah. But instead, she played victim race card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much.
I realized that, but it just kept happening. And then they said, let's go. They have this bar there. And it was like, we were going to leave. And let's go upstairs and have a drink.
Is this all free?
Wait. So they told her to leave.
Multiple times, apparently, based on what she's saying.
And so she left the table, but then went to the bar. She's that person.
Yep.
That's a nightmare that you can't get to leave. So you say, okay, your ticket's over with. You have to leave, Miss Quivers. I'm sorry. The table that was supposed to be here, they need your seat. You don't have a ticket. Okay, it's time to go from this section, ma'am. Okay. And then they just make their way over to the bar and ignore you.
Yeah, they were going to make it so like, oh, fuck you. You're going to have to move me with a bulldozer out of this place. Me and every one of my fucking entourage.
Her and her art grifter friend.
Yeah. Yep.
Who's a nobody.
Yeah.
If you get these tickets.
So
Schnerers. Freeloaders.
She also figured, if I'm with John McEnroe, they're not going to fucking eject me. That was going through her head.
Right. So she was probably trying to attach to him like, flies on shit.
Yep. Absolutely. She was banking on celebrity to get her out of reality. Yeah.
You're like homeless people.
Well, I was just like, I was just sitting there and, somebody kept pouring champagne. And then all of a sudden, this woman who had said, oh, I'm so sorry, you're going to have to leave. And then was, I guess I didn't notice there was a commotion going on about the fact that I was still there. But apparently there was this commotion going on. And finally.
She's always a fucking passenger. I was told. I didn't know.
You did it. You did know. You thought that you were going to get by because you were in a group with people who paid for both periods of time.
Yeah.
And you thought that was going to be enough, but you're not Howard Stern. You're Robin Quivers.
They probably would have told Howard to fuck off too, to be honest. Because if he didn't have tickets, because let's be honest, like that's major business there. CEOs pay shitloads of money for these fucking tickets too.
I'm not sure about that, just because I don't know. I'm not sure how that would have worked, because I know Howard has, done this in multiple other arenas where he doesn't pay. Sure. And somehow gets in there, and he does. Yeah. He's kind of known for doing that.
Well, there's basketball and there's tennis, and look how Spike Lee was treated at the Knicks not too long ago. So there's protocol, and at some point, the chief, the muckety muck or whatever organization, especially tennis, because they're so shishi and they're so like very prim and proper. I don't mind watching tennis when it's important matches every now and then, but I would never go to one of these things because the best seat is your fucking TV. Best seat in the house is really home.
I'll tell you what, the Bills would not take any of this.
Well,
Bills fans.
I'm certain.
You'd be bum rushed into a folding table in 2 seconds flat, Robin.
Well, there you go.
She shows up with 2 tickets to another section, and she says, here are some tickets, and this escort is going to show you out.
Wow.
Get a drink and get out of here.
Is that what she said? Get out?
She was being very nice about it, but essentially it was like, here, take a blanket, just go.
Wow.
Wait a minute. So
like an employee or somebody wrangled her out of there.
Right. But let's pick this apart. She's saying it this way to try to make it seem like the employee was being mean. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. She gave her a blanket. She probably wasn't mean at all. And then Robin just said, no, she was being very nice. So was she saying it in this mean, aggressive way that you're presenting it with this cadence and this affect and this, volume? Or was she being nice and giving you a blanket and saying, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Listen, you don't have this time period of tickets and we have other people. So I really apologize that you didn't have this, but here, please take this souvenir.
Swag.
And we hope to see you next year.
Well, yeah, they were doing in those situations. You have to be very savvy in how to, usher someone out, some of the cattle out of the fucking room. And in this case, yeah, they tried to do it in as smooth a way as possible. But clearly, if she said multiple times, the soft approach wasn't working. Like she counted on them to go. The staff there probably counted on her to get the fucking hint. And, like people would and say, okay, we got to make ourselves scarce, guys. Let's go. It didn't work.
Right. So I'm saying, I think that they were nice, but then by the time she got to the bar, they started bribing her to get out.
Yeah, get the fuck out. Yeah.
Just please go.
So were you embarrassed?
No, I wouldn't have, but it was kind of awkward at that point because I was just like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
Why wouldn't you realize? They told you. Why wouldn't you realize? Lady, can you not fucking read?
It's the height of entitlement, self-entitlement, when you relay a story like this. And this is the one story I really wish they'd had callers call in, even though most of the New York callers would have been like, I don't know from fucking tennis, but it sounds like you were being a bitch, Robin. Sorry, fuck you. But they knew she wouldn't have been able to take it.
I'm the New York caller. What do you mean you didn't realize, Robin? You totally realized and you were trying to fucking pull a scam. Anybody who's pulled a fucking scam knows it.
Yeah.
That's what you were doing. Just own it.
Yeah.
That we were causing a problem. You could have said go at any time.
All right.
So that was kind of funny. And then the next night, Martina Navratilova was going to walk me into that same suite. And boy, that didn't go over.
It didn't go over well?
Didn't go over well at all.
But you're with Martina Navratilova.
Well, Martina, didn't say get there at any particular time the night session.
So Robin doesn't have to show up at any. She can go in any time, willy-nilly, saunter in like a big fucking, I don't know, like a big balloon. Go ahead.
This is the Guatemala trip at the fucking U.S. Open. Miss fucking, I can show up in my juicy sandals whenever the fuck I feel like it. And hi, I'm here.
Martina's going to walk me in.
It doesn't matter when the flight comes in. It doesn't matter when the book signing is. It doesn't, nothing.
No.
This is the height of entitlement and narcissism. Honestly, it's disgusting.
Have you heard Deborah and my breakdown on Patreon of the Robin's mess?
Yes.
And that's another one where I don't know where this stuff came from. I didn't, she's a passenger in life. She really is Dorothy on the little, was it the yellow brick road? And all this shit just starts happening.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. And so, like I said, a caller would have been perfect here, but not in 2010. No, not when she had already walked off the show a couple months earlier.
That's why we're covering it.
Yep. Bingo.
Forever.
It starts at 7.
Right.
I got there at like 6:50, and she was headed out the door to the theater. So her manager tried to walk me in, and that didn't go over well at all. They were like, "No, she's not on any list
because you're the lady who never leaves.
Be here at all."
So that just goes to show you the U.S. Open doesn't fuck around with guest lists and with famous people. Famous, not famous, it doesn't matter. If you don't have because it's a security thing. That's the real main issue.
Also, you're a skeeter. You're a skeet. You're fucking, you know what I mean? Like I've gone to clubs where I'm like, you have to be here. If you want to skate by this line with me, you have to be here with me at this time. If you are not there,
it doesn't work.
You're going to have to wait the fuck in line. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
And if you're not there, I'm not coming back out to get you because it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, you can't. How many times you say, "Oh, my friend's in there."
It doesn't work.
They don't give a fuck. They really don't.
And so now she goes, not for once, twice. So she goes for a second time for this act. And this time she involves Martina Navratilova.
Martina Navratilova, yeah. I mean, and yes, a big deal in tennis. She's a legend at that time.
And she's not on time.
Right? Yeah. Not even on time. Not even able to get there when she's supposed to.
She involves the manager.
Yes. But you know, she clearly went to the man. She called up the manager or called up Martina even and said, "Look, we're on our way out. Like the deal was to show up at this time, and you're on your own."
That's exactly it. Of course it is. It's saying, "Oh, of course, if you show up with me at this time, you can be my guest." Like being at a gym. And you can have a guest pass, but it's for this allotted amount of time where you can have a guest pass or something. But then the person shows up 2 minutes before you're done working out. Is that going to be your guest when you're gone? No.
What's a skeeter?
Skeet, like skeet by.
You bankrupted them with your champagne and dinners.
She can't be here. So then her manager walked me over to another suite and just told us to go in there. And I'm standing there talking to Christy Brinkley and Jeremy Sisto, and Chris Everett was in there.
Look at you.
And
you love that?
What a name-dropping piece of shit.
Jesus Christ, she's name-dropping like a drone bomb.
Anyway, we went out to get something to eat, and when we came back, there were two people there saying, "Get out!" And we were
so you're like
what?
a known schnurrer.
I guess.
Right.
But Barb had brought us in there and said, "Just go in here." And when I told the woman, well, Martina's manager brought me in, and she goes, "Yeah, she didn't belong here either. I threw her out." And now you have to go too. So it was kind of an interesting time at the Open.
Sounds like they hated their fucking guts. Get the fuck out.
It just sounds like a bunch of name dropping, trying, like you don't belong there, but you're going to be like, okay, I know I'm not on the reservation list. I know I'm not on the list, but I'm going to do I get it. I understand what she's doing.
Yeah.
But then just say what you're doing versus saying, I'm so confused.
Yeah.
Just say what you're doing. Like, I tried my best to
I tried to be famous. I tried to be famous for a night.
Yeah, I tried my best to scam my way through this, and I failed. Right.
What I don't understand, though, she had the money personally to be there night, day, as much as she wanted. Now, it's true that if its availability is an issue, and if tickets are gone, they're gone, and no money is going to get you those things when they're gone. So I think that might be the situation. She couldn't actually she was too slow on the uptake to get stuff in advance, because she usually is. And then she decided, no, we're going to go, or she promised she could get tickets to Brendan and she wanted to be the big shot and that kind of thing. I have a feeling there's a little of that going on.
I have a feeling that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah. Let me get us in here. Watch how it's done, son.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
son.
I mean, I'd be humiliated. I mean, I would. I mean, you don't want to be known as a person who's a schnurrer.
No. I was just, I had no idea.
You're
that
a nudnik.
causing.
Let Quivers come in and show you how to make the popcorn. Shit.
All of this trouble.
You're a nudnik. Like, enough. They want you out of there.
Get out.
They were nice to you, that's enough.
Yeah, but, things got, one of my friends who is not black said they heard the N-word being thrown around by some people in the suite.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Not the people who were, talking. You know what? I didn't hear the conversation.
About you and Star Jones?
There were just some old...
Yeah, they've got Serena and Venus Williams at the U.S. Open regularly, but they're going to, in the suites, start throwing around N-word bombs.
In front of the most liberal Hollywood crowd.
Yes.
Who would cancel you in a heartbeat and ruin your life.
Older people who have probably been around the USTA for a long time, and apparently the presence of...
Black people freaked them out.
Yeah, I guess. Too many.
Plus,
maybe there were too many.
Too many blacks in one area, and also, probably being loud and drinking. And
we weren't being loud.
Maybe let out a few laughs or something.
Robin's not being loud.
No. Howard just said, you should probably let off a few laughs.
You think?
He knows who he's working with.
You annoying the old white people. And then you probably, they see you there eating and enjoying it. They remember the day when you weren't even allowed into the
That's
match.
what you'd just be serving.
Right. It was just annoying. Times are moving too.
So this is a conversation based on something Robin just may have heard.
Made up. Yeah.
And now they're going on a fake made up tangent about nothing that really happened.
Right. Back when they used to burn crosses at the U.S. Open in the suites, and it was acceptable. So, yeah, that's the narrative is like someone who wasn't black supposedly heard the N-word being thrown around. But honestly, even in 88,
but
even
Robin
in
didn't hear it.
Yeah, she didn't hear it. And she's claiming, oh, I didn't hear it. Yeah, someone else
Who
did.
told
They
her
said
that?
they heard it. Right, Brendan.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Yeah,
would Daniel Carver show up at the Open? Hey, Robin, you still owe me $10,000.
I like those Williams sisters. I like their backhand.
Them. Yeah. Oh, the N-word.
Yeah. So
that ain't right.
Yeah.
Like, why in the world are those N-words doing here?
Get those N-words.
Out of here.
Yeah, right.
Oh my Lord! Like this is what you could do. You can gaslight people with this bullshit.
Gaslight? You could just make it up. This is completely made up because you're not on time.
Yeah.
You're not on time. You made up a fucking lie. You tried to smooze your way into staying, and nobody wants you there.
I could see her like pulling out a Quivers of Life copy and trying to say, "I'll sign this for you if you let me stay."
Christy Brinkley doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah, so.
You know what you ought to do?
What?
Next time, put on a waitress uniform. They won't be so offended.
They won't kick you out.
Yeah, right. Oh, she's a waitress. She's allowed here.
Come in on the wall,
can
Girl, come here.
Yes, nice to see you again.
So somebody hit the shuggy buzzer on you.
That alarm.
That's horrible.
So Robin just knows where to go with this.
Yeah.
To not only make up a lie and change the narrative about her complete nonsense, but to also trigger Wiggy.
Oh, yeah, to get him going. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's in hog heaven. All of a sudden, as soon as a black person at the U.S. Open, everybody's getting out of there. They're moving.
Now,
like if they move into your neighborhood, you move away.
Now he gets to quasi talk about racism like he understands and he's going to be, but him pointing all of this fake racism that didn't happen out is just him reveling in racist behavior. By the way.
Absolutely. Yeah. This gives him carte blanche to be a fucking bigot and an outright racist. Yeah. And then ultimately riff. That's what he needs on the show desperately in 2010. And what better way? But she's happy to roll into that parking lot for sure.
Oh my God, Uncle Tom strikes again.
Yeah.
Went off and I didn't notice.
These sponsors are taking over our box. That's Star Jones and Robin Quivers and the rest of them.
I came here to watch Rafa. Not Ruffy.
We only want to.
But if I'm wrong, Star Jones was on The View at the time.
I think so.
So, you're right. That show was on every day. If anybody would have mentioned N-word, anything during that period on the fucking View.
Oh, yeah, they would have heard about it.
Never. That would have never happened.
Yeah. It would have been national news, like the U.S. Open. And that's one thing that sport certainly can't, they can't get past. Like if it happens with them, the way it has happened with other sports, it would collapse the whole deck of cards, like the whole house of cards, because it's considered a she sport, and that would just drag them down to the gutter, and all of a sudden they'd be, football, like what's his name, Michael Vick. It would be on Michael Vick level type of controversy. They
wanted diversity. They wanted, because it adds a level of cool.
Well, yeah, it's an international sport. I mean, every tennis player is from every country in the world. So they certainly wouldn't want that getting out there and that being the main story, the headline, racism row at, in presidential suite at U.S. Open, controversy ensues. I mean, they
Star Jones and Robin Quiver just called N-words at the U.S. Open.
Right, exactly.
Come on.
Or even better, would say something like Star Jones and friend. Like Robin wouldn't even get top billing.
Star Jones and Howard Stern's sidekick.
Star Jones and Della Reese. Sorry, we apologize. They're going to have to do a retraction. Sorry, attraction later.
Diversity out on the court.
Not the N-word.
The only N-word should be on the court, but they're out of the tournament. I'm sorry.
I don't mind when they're on the court, although I don't even like that.
What is this accent supposed to be?
So it was kind of...
I don't know. It sounded a little Transylvanian.
Was that supposed to be a throwback to Billy Westmar's shot that missed entirely?
It didn't.
It was like throwing a basketball on a roof.
I love that Tommy Lasorda quote. He couldn't hit water if he fell out of a fucking boat. That's Freddie. Freddie of those impressions.
Kind of interesting.
Hey, what's up? Hey now.
Yucko, can you believe this? Robin got called the N-word?
I can't believe it. Get out of my presidential room, nigga.
What?
I can't believe you got another fucking cat, Howard. That must be some good pussy.
Wow.
What are you thinking, man?
Well, I'm enjoying the cat. I'm actually...
Okay, I don't think there's much more, but we'll let it play out. There's only about 20 seconds left.
Robin didn't get called the N-word. Robin made that up and thinks it. Nobody said that. This is a complete farce. But let's get Yucko to comment.
I was thinking the same thing. All of a sudden, we have a perfect window to crowbar a racist clown into the fucking discussion.
Literally. Well, perfect. Come on. Who should we call in to corroborate the story?
Yeah.
Yucko.
Yeah, perfect. Now, guys, this is the clip a lot of you have been waiting for, but in a way, I don't understand why, because it's so ambiguous. It's like when we were discussing Emily Stern's problem with Robin. They don't really get into the real, they don't really get into details. We have to infer a lot of stuff.
Well, this is why they're waiting for it.
Yeah, I guess.
Because of the vagaries. So you are waiting for somebody as salient as you and somebody as cutting as I to rip this apart.
Well, either way, we know we heard from we know after the fact that basically Anne-Marie, the former office the head of the office, who was replaced
Pincushion?
Well, she was the office mattress, whatever pincushion I like to use. She was replaced by Tracy Millman in the office. I used to think it was Robin Rudzinski, but I think somebody else took her position.
You don't think it was professional to go clubbing with Robin and Brendan Murphy? Those drunk photos we have to put up during this because they are just astounding. I mean, even in my most drunk moments, I don't think I've looked that intoxicated. They look ridiculous.
I'll see. A lot of them have disappeared due to time, but I know I'll find them somewhere.
Oh, I will find them.
Okay, well, either way, go in the Wayback Machine or something. Here's the thing. Anne-Marie was used by Robin because I think they were friends, first of all, but they were still friends even after she was off the show and, finished whatever her stint there. She was some kind of, I looked it up. She had some kind of connections to managers of celebs and something like that. I guess working for the show, she maintained contacts with people in the business so that she could get a hold of her and get numbers and names for these events that Robin was trying to throw, or at least, they could be contacted through her. And then even if they didn't go to the event, at least Robin had that, person she could call to maybe get them to an event.
She reminded me of like a Samantha Jones of The Office, of Sex and the City.
Yeah. Well, either way, the betrayal, if you look at the party photos, no one ever says it, but it's clear she fucked Brendan, and and Robin. And this is the thing. The whole stretch of this fucking saga, she's like, oh, no, it's all about the charity, but ultimately it's what we thought. She wanted to fuck Brendan, clearly.
and then wanted nothing to do with the charity after the fact.
Yeah, that's right.
Also, Anne-Marie, really, this situation bothered her so much and felt like such a betrayal, right? But how could you not see it play out in front of your eyes, especially when you even look at those pictures when they're out at the club? It's like, listen, Grandma, you're at the third wheel. I don't know how you could have such blinders to the situation.
Well, it's a narcissist, I suppose. I mean, like, she was in her upper 50s. She had to be like closing on 60 at least, Robin. And she's just shuffling him around to these like high profile events, like the tennis thing that we covered. Oh yeah. And other galas and openings and whatever. And it just seems to me, I don't know how somebody could be that stupid. Wishful blindness, I guess. But that, I mean, the denial is a powerful drug. It's fuck cocaine.
It's really a sad state.
Well, I remember one of my uncles who's passed away, God bless him, but he was at a club one time, which was basically for, if you were under 30, you could go there and no one would bat an eye. But he was there at like 50 something. And I saw him at the bar and I go, who do you think you're fooling? Like, honestly, because he said, hey, how you doing, nephew? Come on over here. I'm like, look around you. Do you see any other people closing on 60 in this bar aside from the owner?
Yeah.
And he got, I embarrassed him and he got really upset over it. But I said, I'm not going to not tell you the truth because you're embarrassing yourself here.
Listen, I don't have any problem with people older going out and having fun. I think that there's like a weird sort of thing that's put on people where you can't go out and have fun. Fine.
Oh, you can, but age-appropriate locations, venues.
Correct. And I also think if you're at an age-inappropriate location, be with your spouse or something. Yeah. Like, it should be with, like, you're with a group of people or your spouse. You shouldn't be just, like, the lone grandpa at a fucking bar. I mean, that's just, I don't get it.
Well, I mean, if you look at that photo, guys, and we're going to show as many as we can. But then again, she just looks like a demented grandmother.
I don't hate that old people go out to bars. Like, I don't. I just think, why are you surprised that he fucked somebody else then?
Well, because she wanted to fuck him. She was just disappointed. I mean, and I get that, but at the same time, how can you really be surprised that he's not interested in you sexually? You fucking old. I mean, I'm being ageist here. I don't mean that, but
look at all that she laid down for him, the groundwork.
Yes,
that's just hysterical to me. She infiltrated her charity work, which was actually integral to her radio news show that was going on and her possible TV show, her whole new identity. She was linking that charity work to, and she put Brendan front and center of this. So that's a problem. Why would you laid all this groundwork to fuck a guy?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really crazy.
Well, this will be my question to you then regarding this, because we're talking about transparency, we're talking about denial, we're talking about people who might lack a certain amount of awareness, self-awareness, as the case may be. Do you think at this point even pre-betrayal, is she aware that does she have the awareness that she really is doing this just to fuck him?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, and so does she know that, you know what, I'm a fraud. This isn't a charity event. This is bullshit. This is just a front.
That's why it disintegrated so quickly, and so did the image, and so did the entire push for all of these Sylvia Center, Mima, blah blah blah. It all went away, guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the charities, most of these charities might still exist, but her involvement and then, of course, 15 Foundation. No, they don't. 15 Foundation stayed together for a while, but then disintegrated into nothingness. So I try to put myself into the mindset. Okay, I'm 30.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm 35. So I try to put myself, okay, what if I'm 55?
Mm-hmm.
And it still doesn't click to me because I don't value myself or think of something that I want to dominate. Maybe it's because I'm engaged and maybe it's because I'm happy in my life. But even if, say, something happened in my life where Rick wasn't there or I don't have somebody, I'm going to fake care about things and string this guy along with it it's just crazy to me. I just don't understand this mindset. I think you should be a boss in your own mentality of like, you created this, you have this. I mean, I just don't see myself being like this shallow.
Well, the other thing is, it seems to me like it's way too much work for too little payoff. I mean, it's not like the guy was Robert Redford in his prime. It doesn't like he was, as Artie would say, a young Mark Hamill. He was okay, whatever. He was younger.
Please, he was not okay. He was an average at best.
Okay,
and
fine.
hearty fuckboy. I mean,
he looked like a nebbish Machine Gun Kelly. I mean,
really.
Okay, so here's the thing. She does all this like she would have been better off going get a fucking massage and slipping the guy an extra $100. Say, look, just jerk me off or something. Honestly,
I agree. Or like there was just I don't understand why. That's my problem with this entire situation is I don't get the why. And I can't understand from her point of view in life and money and status, why?
Well, because the problem is money and status and, well, not influence, but let's just, whatever little influence she has doesn't substitute for brains and actual self-awareness. And she is just as much in her own NPD, her own version of NPD or narcissism, at least, as Howard. She's unwilling and unable to see herself as we see her and as everybody else does.
Plus, I think, too, Howard bought Beth, right? Obviously. Mm-hmm. The contract, whatever they have going on there. Mm-hmm. And she sees that and thinks, well, I can use some of my capital to get what I want. I want to fuck that artist.
And also
get that guy.
And also keep in mind, she's feeling really good about herself because she's lost all kinds of weight. So she thinks that weight loss equals, okay, now I'm Megan Fox.
Oh, yeah. Of course. I mean, did you see her on any of those shows that she did for her subsequent, she really thought highly of herself then.
Yes.
And had a whole new attitude about it and the charity stuff. Mm-hmm. So then we have to also think about how she approaches this. Think about how Howard approached Beth. Now, I'm going about this in like, Howard approached Beth in the way he got her. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows what it is, but because it's a man doing that to a woman, it's more fine.
It's normal, at least, unfortunately.
It's normalized. Yeah. That's just what it is. Everybody, who doesn't know the Anna Nicole Smith story? Hello.
Right. We've seen this movie many times, and some of us have starred in it.
Tons.
Yeah. So, but it's the reverse this time.
But then Robin I think she thinks she could do this and was trying to do this because if you notice, Beth got involved with the charity. Beth got involved with North Shore Animal League. Mm-hmm. And Howard put her front and center of that. So isn't that odd that all of a sudden the guy Robin wants to fuck is now fronting and being a part of the charity? He's the lily symbol or whatever. Right. And he's front and center with his artwork with all of her charity. It's really odd how she's trying to parrot and mimic all of the same things that Howard kind of thrust upon us with Beth, which we thought was a little weird, but not as weird.
But not only this, but keep in mind, he's also trying to sell a brand, that fucking Soulfire thing that he went to court over.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course he won, but nevertheless, he was still taken to court. It was a bit of a hassle for him. And so he's trying to sell himself as an artist, but he's also shilling his own products. Yeah, exactly. And the fact that Richie Wilson admitted as much, and it was just a throwaway comment. He goes, "Oh, the grifter."
Yeah, that's right. We got that in the interview too. That's another great. He knew. And so that means if he knew, they all knew.
Yes. And why couldn't you say anything to her? Why couldn't someone who was tight in the organization tell her? Because you can't tell a narcissist anything. They won't believe you anyway. They think whatever I got supersedes the truth. Reality is a fucking urinal with a cake I piss in.
I also think too, Fillmore, Beth and Howard had more of an arrangement, whereas Robin had more of a, I hope to make this an arrangement.
Yes. Well, yeah. I mean, the Robin book, for example, like the Quivers of Life book, not talking about Education of Robin, which we are going to cover eventually. That book was a direct kind of reply to Private Parts. That was her thinking, well, I can get a book made, and I got the offer. Now I just got to create the bullshit story and then go out with it and promote it. And then Miss America was a response to Quivers of Life, because he was like, and if you look at Miss America, guys, there's nothing in it. He had to put that out to show her, look, I'm the fucking boss here. Don't you dare release a book on my time.
It was literally cartoons and fake omissions and nothing. It was horrible.
Excuse me, guys. Sorry, a little congested this morning. So she can't. Well, I was going to say there's that expression, no good deed goes unpunished. In this case, like no narcissistic deed goes without response from the bigger narcissist. And with the two of them, it's like spy versus spy or something. They've got to constantly, one's hitting over the other over the head whenever they can. He has to show her place. That's why that fucking book came out as quickly as it did, kind of without any fanfare or as much fanfare as Private Parts, because maybe Simon and Schuster had the option, but he was going to wait 2 years to release his book. No announcement until after she's done her book. Bullshit. He waited for her book shit to be done. And surreptitiously, he's going, okay, we got to put another book out together to show that I'm the king. And I am grateful as, a hate listener now, and realizing how taken we were that exists just on the cover alone. Okay. So for me, you could put that out and make any amount of money you want all day off that. The takebacks, we get the kickbacks, the dividends we're getting from that book. Bring it on. Both books, yeah. So here we go, guys. Here's the Betrayal clip. Sorry for the preamble, but again, it's an important clip, and it's kind of the linchpin of the whole saga. So it is a little important and necessary to do a little exposition there. So we don't just sorry. We don't just play things, not prepare and laugh it off. We actually structure arguments. Just a little bit.
Sarah, so who else?
Bob Saget and Jeffrey Ross and Sam Simon and his girlfriend, who just got engaged. I didn't even know it.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, and then, we were having a great time. It was a good evening.
Yeah.
I got
something
some
bad
information that really rocked me, and it just fucked my weekend.
I could guess what it is.
Incidentally, guys, this is approximately, let me get the date right. I'll be 1 sec. Betrayal. I think it's the 26th of October, 2010, because there's the next day, there's a little bit more talk, and we're going to go into that, but that's this date. So he says, some bad news happened first. Yeah. I think something bad happened. He knows, yeah. So he knows. Oh, yeah. So feigning ignorance does not apply when you're the one who says, I think something bad happened. Mm-hmm. He knows. Yep.
I'm not gonna. I think I probably figured it out.
Really? So, yeah.
Somebody betray you?
It felt like a betrayal.
Oh, he knows.
I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm sort of reeling.
You're going to cut the person out?
I'm reeling.
Cut it out like a cancer.
You know what? Another thing I figured out.
Cut it out like a cancer, Robin.
Oh my God, that's such a poor choice of words given the historical context. Yeah, it is a poor choice of words, but I also think this has a lot to do with anonymity, and it has a lot to do with protecting the spaces of your privacy when it comes to his life. Projecting. So you cut that shit out that is going to expose you in any
single solitary way. And this risked exposing something, I think, not only for Robin, but for Howard.
In what way?
Because I think they gained a friendship, Anne-Marie and Robin, right? And him and Brendan. And I'm positive that there were some sort of exchanges that were had during this time period. And I definitely think that after the betrayal, Anne-Marie and Brendan both probably scared the fuck out of the two of them from, could you imagine that phone call? I don't think it went the way we think it went about like, I'm hurt. I think it went along the lines of, I just got betrayed by Brendan with an employee who knows things because I said things. And what do? You cut them out like cancer.
Well, the thing is, it would also be just as simple as they hurt me, so cut them out. It doesn't necessarily have to be surreptitious, exchanges and, they gave information or intel that they shouldn't know, but they do know and they shared it and blah, blah, blah. It could be, on Howard's behalf, it would be simply as simple as, that guy fucking, he called me an asshole, so fuck him. Cut him out of my life. That's it. That's as little as what it could be.
This is all my speculation.
Sure.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's certainly a good theory. But Anne-Marie had been off the show, let's say 4 to 5 years at this point. So any kind of information she had is
right. But then you have enough time to build it up and make it. You have enough time to scare people into not doing or saying anything.
Well, again, when we talk about control, guys, it's funny. It kind of trickles down to every aspect of his being. He needs to control the environment. He needs to control the flow of information. He needs to control the lighting, the camera angles. He needs to control his own clothing.
Because isn't it interesting?
Sexuality.
Isn't it interesting if you take this and parallel it to the Jim Florentine breakup? Okay. They wanted to discuss that. Of course they wanted to discuss that because they knew there was nothing that was dangerous about discussing it. They wanted to pry Robin open for that discussion. They were willing to, whatever. We want to know every detail. Even Howard News wanted to know everything about that detail of that breakup. Why is this off limits? Why is this concealed and couched in such a way that is this? So that to me sends a message of it's more than Robin having hurt feelings and being betrayed.
Well, it could be that, but also it could be like he knows that if this happened, of course, and he knows it happened, he doesn't have to ever fucking hear about 15 Foundation ever again, which he never wants to.
Right. Well, of course, but he's expressed that he doesn't like it before.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, even like an answer, like never like even a quick plug somewhere or some mention. Oh, I was at a gala for the 15 Foundation, and let's say it's like a 2-second mention. He doesn't even want to hear that anymore. No,
but we know he doesn't want to hear that stuff. Fine. But what I'm saying is the relationship with her and Brendan.
Yeah.
He would want to hear about it and pry it open. He would want to hear about it and pry it open. Think about that and put it alongside the Florentine breakup.
Well, like the whole
that
point. That
doesn't make any sense.
Well, this is exactly it. Why can't she discuss this betrayal on the air? Why can't she?
They talked about everything with the Florentine breakup. Everything.
Yes.
Some of it was vague, right? And they didn't care. They pile drived right over it and just kept picking it apart. Okay.
And as I recall correctly, she gave the information on the Bubba show, and he was pissed off that she announced it there before on the Stern show.
That is correct. Yeah. So what I'm saying is what is going on here that the initial reaction to this is immediate secrecy?
Yeah.
Is immediate, not disclosure.
Right.
That is weird to me.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Again, it could be as simple as
these are my investigator ears perked up because I could see the difference of one versus the other.
Right.
And it's something to note. I'm not saying there is, but I'm saying that is something to point out of a notable difference.
I see also that, but I'm playing devil's advocate. It could also just as easily be enough about Robin. This show's about me. I don't want to hear about it. Like, let's get back to me, that kind of thing on a surface level.
But he had been saying continuously, let's get back to me, and had been making those points previously as we covered during this saga.
I will say this, though. This is more to your point, actually. When this clip starts, which, this is a 10-minute, 30-second clip that we've shortened because it is just her talking about the gala and all this bullshit. He has the fact that they dance around the whole point for 7 minutes before they go into it makes me think more along your line of thinking, because he's not sure how comfortable and she is talking about how much of this. Like, he doesn't know how much she wants to talk about on the air, but he does know that she may want to talk about it. And he, being a yenta, would love to hear all about it, because for two reasons. Number one, it's knowledge, and they crave knowledge more than just as much as supply, because it gives them power over people. And number two, he wants to revel in her fucking misery. He loves hearing her failures. Makes him feel better about himself.
He likes hearing failures, but he doesn't like hearing it at the cost of information possibly being jeopardized at his expense.
Yeah, totally.
So this is where, and this is why I think I might be right on this. I'm just saying.
Okay.
These are my inklings and instincts, and you could take it or leave it, but I'm pretty good at them.
All right, let's keep going.
What else I figured out?
Yeah.
I need a bunch of new friends. First of all, Sarah Silverman has like the greatest bunch of guy friends.
You need a group of new friends. I've been saying that.
Okay, who at 60 says that?
Anyone who has guy friends who says, I need a bunch of guy friends. If you don't have girl friends, there's something wrong with you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
You can have guy friends. Fine. I have guy friends, but I have best friends, girlfriends. You can't. It's, again, women who don't have girlfriends. That's something to be aware of, and that's a fucking red flag.
Look at
anyone
look at
who's
that book.
listening. Plant the flag and put it in the ground. Anyone who doesn't have women friends and can't keep them, that's a fucking red flag.
Well, let's be honest. Look at that book of hers. She barely talks about any friends. Barely.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because she can't keep them.
She can't keep them. But what it is, of course, guys, the two of them are just insufferable. Well, they're insufferable bores, but they're also narcissists, and they burn people out. And that's anybody who's tried to make a friendship with them, you find it's just impossible because they're tedious. It's all about them, as they say themselves, and they don't inquire about you. They don't ask how you're doing. You know, Robin might be a little better about that, but that's transactional. Like, it's not really, she's not asking because she cares. She wants to lead it up to segue into talking about herself.
It says a lot about you as a person if you can't maintain friendships. If you can't maintain friendships and you are this flippant person who doesn't have deep friendships with especially women throughout the years of your life. Like, I am still friends with my people I grew up with in my neighborhood, across the street from me, next door to me. We get together once a year. If you don't have that, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
I truly believe that.
I would like to personally go through your friends and vet them for you. Give me a list of. Look at me.
Just wonderful to see.
Give me a list of your friends.
And I, like a couple of people, I reached out because I was having this horrible time. They were horrible. It was like I had to hang up from them because they were worse than me.
So that's funny.
Yeah.
She was calling people and they were telling her shit she didn't want to hear, and that's why she hung up on them.
That's a narcissist. They don't like being called out on their They don't like being called out on their false self, their false face. They don't like being called out on their bullshit. Then they will gaslight you and call it bullying.
Mm-hmm.
And so Robin, as a celebrity, will call this bullying and then express it in a way like she did at the tennis match,
right,
as racial profiling.
Yeah.
And she becomes a victim when it's simply just rule abiding. Or in this situation, you are fucking just not listening to what people have to say, and you don't like what they have to hear. You don't like the information. Sorry, sometimes critical thinking requires you to think differently.
Critical thinking, the person who, sent a scam money to Artie's sister, quote unquote sister, and found out it was all bullshit.
Yeah. Remember that? What the fuck was that? You got fooled by
if we did the show.
What was that?
If we did a show on these fossils getting scammed by people, Gary, some guy on eBay telling him, look, let's go communicate not through eBay, and I'll get this thing to you. He got fucked us over too. If you don't
send me 10 grand now, 10,000 cats are going to burn in a house.
Yeah, exactly.
I better get to it.
Well, here's the thing. You got also, so she's got friends that even if they're not telling her awful things, they might be saying, I kind of thought this would happen. That's not helping her. She needs something to reinforce something else to make her feel better about herself. People telling her the truth is not going to make her feel better.
We've all been there. Like, we've all had friends like this who need to hear this.
Oh yeah, but then at the cost, it's potentially at the cost of losing them as friends. But then if they're that flippant and that kind of emotional and unbalanced, then you really probably shouldn't have them as friends to begin with.
But that's the red line, at least for me, because if you're not willing, you can sit on it, you can be mad about it, but if you're not willing to accept, I don't think you have to you don't have to agree with it,
but you should consider it.
You have to at least consider it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point of everything, and including myself or you. Have you heard information that you don't like about yourself that you have to reconsider? Mm-hmm. You have to do it.
Yeah.
You have to do it. You have to think, okay, let me take a couple of steps back here. I have to reconsider.
Right. Well, I mean, I'll give a short little microcosm. I've heard complaints about the show, for example, that there's some parts of them that I said, well, yeah, there's constructive stuff as I've taken in. I go, well, maybe that person has a point. Maybe I can cut back on this, or maybe I can trim this, or blah, 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 or I could change this and somehow affect the show in a positive way. That's fine. If I was just emotional, if I was purely emotional and also immature emotionally, like Howard or Robin, I wouldn't be able to see past the criticism. It would just be, fuck you, the show is awesome, I don't need to hear that shit. And I need to hear from people that will not tell me any different than, this is great, keep doing what you're doing. Because my real echo chamber is you guys, because you don't talk shit. If you think something is not good, you're going to say it. If we have an episode we think is crap, we're not releasing it. I pass it through to Raven. I pass it through to Sam. I ask someone else, do you think this is a good idea? And they go no or yes. And then we go forward.
I'm notoriously just volatile sometimes when I have a strong opinion about something. And that doesn't mean I don't accept other opinions. So sometimes it takes me a second to digest it. And when I do, I think about it and I say, okay, they got a point. And then you reconfigure and you
restart.
Say, okay, I thought about this for a second. I had my moment of I didn't calibrate this correctly. I didn't think about this in the way you're thinking about this. I thought about this in the way I'm thinking about this. And now I'm digesting this information and I see your point. But you have to be able to be an adult and be able to see these points. That is our point of this Robin conversation, is adults should be able to do this. And I don't understand how they can't.
Well, because we don't know that many people in our lives like these two. If you did have people like this in your life, you'd most likely cut them out by your gut. you'd say there's something about this person that's off. You might not even be able to.
You would, right?
You might not be able to verbalize it, but you can say this person's not right. They're unhinged. There's something not normal.
You did that with me with one of my friends. We would talk about this person, and I said, I would tell you examples, and finally you were just like, you have to just cut this off.
I think in a nutshell, it was like
emotional.
What good do you get out of this? And if the answer is nothing, then that person offers nothing of value. And I don't mean to sound like that's a transactional thing. Like, if you don't do for me, I don't do for you. But life does work that way. If someone did nothing for you, why would you have them in your life?
Yeah, it was like an emotional guilt thing. I think I put on myself just because of the years that were on the friendship. You're good at that.
I don't know. Listen. I've had, thankfully, all of my long-term friends I've kept for a very good reason. I'm sorry to get down this path, guys, but it is that sometimes that helps when you're talking in podcasts like these, when you're discussing these things. It helps you to maybe put some perspective in your own life. There's a great quote from the movie Dogs of War with Christopher Walken, where the guy goes, the bad guys goes, Mr. Endine could tell you what a generous friend I am. It would be good for you to have a friend like me in your life. And Christopher Walken goes, I got all the friends I can handle right now. I love that line.
Call me about it.
I thought about you, but I was like, I'm not going to bother him because I'm all the way out here.
For that, you can bother me.
I know. I just because I was thinking back to another time that you and Beth really helped me during something. And I was like, oh, that was so great. But, I'm all the way out here. I'm not going to.
Why does she have to fucking rely on Howard and Beth for anything? Shouldn't you at her age have a fucking team of friends to be able to call and contact?
Why does she sound like Dion from Clueless? It was so great. Like, you guys really helped me. But I'm fine.
But this is the same thing. Like, in the book, she goes back to Howard and Allison for help. She doesn't have a single friend to call on. And later in the book, it's her therapist. And then that person retires. So all of a sudden, she's clear. She's free. She doesn't need to go to therapy anymore. And still, you don't see friends.
But this is also if we think about the situation, Fillmore, this is a very
telling.
It's not that hard of a thing to accept or understand. So for me, how many friends do you really need to go to understand what is happening?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's like when I watch The Bad Vegan on Netflix. How stupid do you have to be? It drives me crazy. So I'm not giving a pass to people because they're rich or they have a platform or they, have more capital than you, that they're somehow better than us.
Or
if
smarter.
You are that stupid to not understand what's going on around you entirely, you're a fucking idiot. I don't know what you get.
You deserve what you get, basically. I mean, like what they say, a fool and his money are soon parted. Someone else said something. The fool should never have had the money to begin with, let's be honest. And Robin is that fool.
Money doesn't make you a good person.
No, it doesn't. That's the other thing. It doesn't buy class. It might buy ass. That's about it.
Worry him with this.
I feel like I feel I'm keyed into something here.
And so, it was a bummer, tough weekend.
I have a theory on.
And I still had to run. I still, I wanted to how you want to curl up in a little ball.
I have a theory on who. I don't know. I wonder if I'm right.
I don't.
You think I'm right?
Okay, I want to keep playing this out a little bit, but I will. But before we do that, I'm going to say right now, because Deborah and I were talking about this months and months ago when we were getting into the tail end of this, starting to get a tail end of this series, that by the time the marathon comes around, the marathon is post this, so that's why she doesn't even bother to really do it properly, and she fucks it up, and there's controversy with the finishing of it. She did finish it. I absolutely believe that, but I think there's a good chunk of that marathon where she just fucking walked or took a cab part of the rest of the way, and then ran the last 100, maybe 500 yards or something, like jogged the last bit, because she's like the whole time think you're doing this fucking marathon for this and this asshole did this to you. That's all you're thinking. You're not thinking about charity. You're not thinking about who you're helping, which you should be if there really is about the charity. Yeah. She's just going, I couldn't fuck him, couldn't seal it, couldn't close the deal.
I couldn't get my bath.
I need a bagel. And the bagel was, that's a whole other discussion when we get into the marathon thing, guys. That'll be the run for the bagels. Continue. Sorry.
No, she was thinking I couldn't land my bath.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Do you think I'm right?
With you.
No, do you think I'm
psychic?
Do you think I'm right?
Get away from me.
Wait, look at me. And do you think I know what you think?
Maybe. I don't know.
All right, okay.
But I don't want to talk to you about it.
No, but call me off the air. Seriously.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Well, you better talk to me about it because your other dopey friends don't know really what they're talking about. Trust me.
So for this, he's accessible, but every other time, I don't want to hear you.
No, it's a little... And I think it's not just Robin. As I watch like Bravo Real Housewives go through these motions,
yeah,
it's really sad to me as a woman at a certain age when you are curled up in a fetal position at some sort of age when you should have more wisdom than this about this, like, and you're acting like teenage soup for the chicken soul kind of behavior.
Yeah.
And it just... I can't believe the people that I grew up, kind of thinking of pillars of strength or feminism or anything like that. And now we've devolved into this blubbering, divorced, psychotic acting people and we're celebrating this behavior. I don't get it. And I don't understand Robin's behavior. I really don't. Because I would never in my life embarrass myself like this.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, some people do crazy things for what they think is love or what they want to be love. And maybe when you try that hard.
That's also a sign of abuse too. Like when you say, I did it for love. Yeah, so did OJ. I mean, I don't get that. I don't believe that you aren't in control of your own reality, that you can't see what's going on around you. I just have no ability to believe this.
Well, this is key. And I believe Brendan first showed his whole cards too quickly. And he could have run with this for another couple of years if he really wanted to.
And see, the thing was, when he first came on the scene and we started this, I called it out immediately, as did Richie Wilson, as did most people. So for me, I just don't have I don't understand how you can be in the fetal position of something that was so fucking obvious.
Because for some people, they got to be outside the hurricane to see the damage that's being caused. And she, in this case, is the hurricane. And so the idea that she is going to have some perspective or she's going to, you'd think someone of that age and that station in life should have the knowledge to suss these things out and these people out. But she doesn't. He doesn't know because Marcy Turk takes Wiggy for a ride. That's an even bigger grift than Brendan. So these are two peas in a pod and they need to be told what to do. Look at that vegetation. When we get into that, she's doing a cooking show, doesn't do a bit of cooking, and has the gall to release a cookbook when she's 300 pounds.
And people who are grifters literally have released documentaries on how they do this.
Yes.
How they know that these people are so insecure.
Yeah.
And so able to just receive this information.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, my wife watched Inventing Anna, and she told me I got to check it out. And I think Raven's going through it now. And I just keep saying that actress that plays the real character, who I didn't hear in an interview until after the show. I thought she's amazing. Because I want to fucking knock her in the head because she's so annoying, that accent. But she took these people. She made these people took a bath on her, and I don't have any sympathy for them. But she's so obnoxious that I go, this is grifting. It's a perfect grifting story.
It is. It's that grifting story. I don't respect what she did to her friends, like people that were close to her, but I do give some sort of respect to her game. The fact that there is this there is this elitist class that just gets these things because they are who they are, because they say we have this trust fund, and so you should give me this checking account with this $250,000 balance, or you should give me these things. And they actually do it, or free plane rides, or anything, hotel rooms, whatever. And it just blows my mind that this person is literally shining a mirror on what happens every day in the real privileged life of people.
Well, that's why I have way more respect for somebody that comes from nothing, like Aristotle Onassis, not as a human being, and just in terms of his acumen and his business, what he was able to do, literally coming from fucking rags, literally not having a home for himself, and he scraped and clawed and did what he could to at one point become the richest person in the world, and one of the most successful shipping magnates. And the idea that this person has played 3-card monte on the streets. You know, they had the fucking crap game. They did whatever they fucking could to make it, and did make it, and kept it. That's the person you take over the hedge fund asshole who never suffered. So in the case of Robin and Howard.
Yeah, right. That's exactly right. That's why you don't sympathize with Robin over somebody not sympathizing, but just understanding.
Yes. So like you have the street smarts cannot be, what's that expression from Carlito's Way? It goes, you get one thing about, you know, being a gangster, you can't have a late start and you can't go to school for it, something like that. You cannot learn this on the fly. You have to have lived the life to know the life.
Listen, I'm marrying somebody who's one of the most street smarts people I know. You innately are, or you aren't.
And your gut is usually never wrong.
It's a code of conduct, too.
Yeah, your gut is usually never wrong. If something feels wrong initially, it most likely is. I've often gone by that. What was that one line? Artie goes, sometimes my gut will talk my heart and my mind out of something.
Artie, that's why I think most people like you, me, you resonate with it. You get it.
Well, I mean, anyway, let's try to get through this one. We're like Deborah. It's like me and Deborah. We take a 10-minute clip and make it 2 hours. But this one, like I said, guys, the betrayal aspect of this fascinates me to no end, because she should have seen this coming from the beginning and she didn't. And I do not understand. Even though we've gone through it all, I cannot comprehend why. I cannot comprehend how she didn't at least lose one friend along the way who had the guts, who was a real friend, who said, you got to ditch this asshole. Because we'll never know. She'll never talk about that part of her life.
Because she doesn't have anybody that's really close to her.
I'd say that's the only answer.
I know what I'm talking about.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, I'll change the topic if you want.
But, yeah, John's better now, so don't worry about John.
Okay, that wasn't really working. Oh, that was my very next question. How is John?
And it was really good to see everybody else.
Okay, a little bit more.
By the way, Baba Boo, I'll call you about this.
You don't have to call me.
All right, well, if you don't want to talk about it, I won't force it. You should call me, though, because I would like to know.
So you know.
That's very telling. I would like to know. Not that I'd like to help. I just want to be fucking in the know. I want to know everything about this.
He knows something about it, and it bothered him because, like I said before, my theory.
Mm-hmm.
No, I would like to offer my advice. Cut it out like a cancer. That's my advice.
I know what your advice always is.
Right. Trust me.
Surgery.
Surgery is the answer. Put that stomach band on, so to speak.
Yeah, if that was your advice, if that was his advice, he would have sensed that from the beginning and said it if he was a real friend. It's only when he thinks that he possibly could become in peril from this breakup, not breakup relationship romantically, but breakup professionally with her and Brendan. That is the only time you hear him say something about this. He says it's weird, or he's not sure, or what to make of it. And they pry her and pick her a little bit on that.
Yeah.
But this is the only time you see him
definitively
this opinion, which is very, to me, telling.
I'll tell you one. I'll go you one further. I think he knew about, because they can tell these things about each other, but not about themselves. They don't have that.
Yep.
So he knew it was a grift from the onset, as everybody else did, but would not be able to find the same thing happening to him because his ego and his narcissism would not allow him to believe he was being taken for a ride. So he sees it. He's like, he can't wait. He can't wait for he's the Schadenfreude king. He can't wait for it to crumble to pieces, but he's going to allow it to happen because he needs her to be brought back down to earth a bit.
Right, but he needs to know how it crumbled and what he's going to say, because I guarantee you her relationship with Ralph, everything else, don't think for 5 seconds that they didn't talk some smack or some tea about that.
Oh,
and I'm in camp. He is trying right now, Howard, to cover bases of what does he know? What did you tell him?
Yeah.
How is this going to explode on me? Am I going to be on the New York Post?
He's got the tea towel out. He's looking to clean up the spill. He wants to see exactly how far it goes. Next clip, guys, is the marathon talk from 10/27, the following day after the, quote, betrayal. And there's a little more betrayal talk here, and she discusses it. But basically, it's damage control. It's like him trying to soften the blow a little bit, Wiggy, towards Robin. And here we go.
New eye makeup for Robin.
Every day it's new.
It's new. It's a different style of eye makeup. I see what you're doing.
I have different shadows in there, and I do different things. I never could do the same thing twice.
Well, this is a winner. Stick with it. Yep, stick with it.
I don't know how to stick to it.
Well,
I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, then you have a problem. Pay attention. No, that's a good look today.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Okay. When does Howard ever really say anything about her makeup or hair?
I'm glad you said that.
Or
yeah.
The only thing he ever talks about is if she loses weight.
Oh, yeah.
Not if she gains weight. Then he just talks about fat people in front of her and pretends not to notice she's the size of a couch.
Well, the other thing is, that he's full of shit because, yeah, exactly. There's that. He's just trying to soft sell whatever's going on and cushion things, like I said, because he knows it's got to come up, but he's so uncomfortable. So he'd rather talk about anything more trivial. And there's nothing more trivial than someone's makeup, Well,
I mean, yeah. And on top of it, too, Robin, it is a little weird to me that they do have Howard TV, but I'm sure if Robin really wanted it, Fillmore, if Robin really wanted it, they could have paid for a makeup artist.
Sure.
To do her makeup. I mean, if she can't manage to do a look twice, I personally am really good at doing makeup, so I enjoy it and love putting it on, and I could duplicate a look anytime, make up different looks, try different things. I love doing it. But for some people, they are challenged that way. So if Robin is admitting she's challenged that way, I don't understand why they wouldn't just pay a makeup artist, especially with that budget. It's not that expensive.
Well, let's face it. They pay someone to do just about everything there, except apparently take out the garbage and clean out the refrigerator. But
they pay Ralph to curl his fucking wig.
Oh yeah, and someone, Ryan, one of the friends of our podcast, he messaged me a clip from 2005 that I'm going to play you later. It's about Gayle King and Oprah and Artie and Ralph and Howard, and I don't know if you ever heard it, but it's an amazing bit of candor, actually. But either way,
Gayle King, on a side note, really pissed me off yesterday. She did an interview with Jim Carrey over the Will Smith slap with Chris Rock at the Oscars. And she said, well, don't you think that it elevated to that level, that somehow he elevated it to that level? And Jim Carrey shot it down like, no. There is no excuse for anybody to jump up on a stage and assault somebody. He said, no, that's sickening.
Well,
and
Jim Carrey might be a lech. He might be a fucking herpes-ridden cock stain.
Yeah, and he's done his own assaults on stage.
Yeah, he might be a 20 million per film shithead these days, but he also started stand up, and he basically he was a clean friend of Sam Kinison back in the day. They kind of had roots together, and he's never going to side against a stand-up. Never.
Well, it just befuddled me that when it's that Hollywood crowd with that mentality that you side with, like your team, like Gayle King, you're trying to make up excuses for it, and I don't like that. I don't like it, because if it was somebody you didn't like, you would say no excuse. She did the same thing with the Jussie Smollett interview. Like, no pushback on any of these weird details that he's putting out that don't make any fucking sense.
Think about what you did and repeat it.
I'll try to repeat it.
You're shining. You're glowing. I think you're glowing because you're almost done with that marathon training.
Well, that helps.
Yeah.
Marathon training at KFC.
Huh?
I'm on the tapering. I feel a lot better.
Tell the truth. Are you sorry that you started this whole thing? And once you're in it, you can't stop.
Get that.
He knows.
Tell us the truth. Now that you're not going to get to the dick at the end of the rainbow, are you sorry that you started pretending to care about marathons and fucking people?
The pot of dick. Jesus Christ. Well, he's right enough to ask that, because. But it's funny, he wouldn't have had the balls to do that before she said, oh, it's a betrayal, this and that and the other thing. He wouldn't have made cast aspersions, and she would have been insulted, like, oh, what are you talking about? Of course, charity is my main goal. How could you dare possibly, or she'd laugh it off.
Yeah, she'd mostly laugh it off. But then once they started becoming more annoyed by it, that's when she started becoming more annoyed with their contempt for it.
Oh yeah, big time.
What I'm sorry about is not that I decided to do it.
Yes.
It's that within that time, like, I'm tired of running now.
Right.
And it'd be great to just stop and give myself a break for a little while and then come back to it fresh. Right. I can't do that. No. I just have to keep going. No matter how tired you get, no matter what's going on.
So if you had to do it all over again, and I said to you, Robin, we can erase this commitment, would you just say, oh, yeah, I would never have
Right
done
now, there's something on the table.
Okay. So she's got a commitment. She's made a commitment to whatever. She's gonna run for 15 Foundation. She's wearing 15 Foundation gear on her when she does the marathon. So kudos to her for actually trying to do it, at least trying to go through with the charade. But at this point, she's between a rock and a hard place. Nothing short of breaking her leg. There's no way she could get out of doing it. And
you know how Robin is with commitments. Can we call up any of those little sisters and let them know how committed she is?
What was amazing about her, and you mentioned little sisters now, she did stay in contact with that Leah from the book, the little sister she bailed on. I just don't know. I had to look it up. She's mentioned a couple times the kid grew up and had kids of her own, married, I believe, and was pretty stable as far as I understand. But it's funny how that just... If you just went into got your biographical information from the show, you still wouldn't know a lot about Robin outside of what they tell you.
Yeah, and it is a little weird that if that was something tremendous you did in your life, wouldn't you be more apt to talk about it?
Sure.
Like, wouldn't you be more forthcoming, especially on a show that's supposedly, 4 or 5 hours a day, every day? Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
it just seems weird that it was never discussed.
I think if he was pressed for content and he might, especially during the Artie years, which would never have been the issue because he just fucking doubled and tripled down on Artie content to keep the fucking serious boat afloat, the show afloat. Anyway, with her, he might have been desperate enough to try to go down that road, but I think even he knows she doesn't want to talk about that stuff, and he's not interested enough in her shit to bring it up and make the show about her.
I agree with you, but I also think, like, even when you say, what did you do this weekend? There was never a weekend where you heard, oh, yeah. Well, I mean, maybe once every 5 years or something, you would hear she did something for that little sister. But for the most part, it's not like she spent a great amount of time an effort with it.
No, certainly not.
That I have to consider because it might be a good thing for 15.
Yeah.
But it's like, are you out of your mind?
I don't understand.
Well, I have an offer. They want me to do the San Francisco Marathon. I was like, are you out of your mind?
Oh, my God. Stop it.
But I have to think about it.
Wow.
I have to really consider it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why would they be out of their mind if you've agreed to run one marathon? Why would it be out of order for them to think you'd run another one?
Of course. And especially since she's on this whole new rebranding of health and running and wellness and, green drink and whatever bullshit she's peddling. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. She could do it if there was still that carrot known as Brendan Murphy's cock, at the end of the finish line.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing is those places that if it's the same place or a place she's already gone to, yeah, they would absolutely hit her up for that. Because most of the time they do share soft touches and they say, look, we have a contributor, we have a donor, we have an organ. And she's, we have someone who could give money or at least throw your charity into the same pot, into 15 Foundation and make money for you and blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, that makes perfect sense. But the way she explained it, like, no, what are you talking about? How could I possibly do that?
Oh, well, good for you.
Might be a half marathon.
Oh, my God. Well, hey, listen, you're turning into quite the runner.
You know what? I have enjoyed some part of the training. It just goes on and on and on and on. Like I said, you can't necessarily stop. And so I have said to myself, I'll probably continue to do long runs every once in a while because there's something really good about it.
What part of the training did you enjoy? The psychological aspect of...
She's full of shit, by the way. You don't train for a fucking marathon by doing 4Ks. You train by doing half marathons and you work your way and you get yourself into a flow. The most I ran was 10K and that fucking killed me because it was in 100% humidity and I saw people like passing out in the run and like May fucking 20 something degrees. Sorry, Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. So someone like her who has no business being in the marathon she should have been, like I said, she should have had a marathon tutor. Her trainers were feeding her a line of shit. Or they were told, look, just, humor her.
They tried and she totally said, I'm not doing that and I'm doing it my way and you're going to have to coach me around my bullshit.
Well, that might be very well the case, and actually, that probably is more likely. Like she knows better. What are you to tell her? I lost all this weight, blah blah blah. She lost the weight because she went down to almost no calories per day, and yes, she was doing some exercising. Clearly,
I
know. I just get frustrated as a former runner, and I would love to get back into it again. But again, I'm worried about my joints now that I'm older, so I have to keep with like soft, sort of less intensive, like yoga or swimming and things that won't fucking destroy my my knees and my ankles. So
I'll keep up with my steady years of doing zero running.
Yeah.
I can do something that I didn't know I could do, or are you talking about the actual physical activity?
Well, the physical activity is good. The results are good. I'm really, I feel a lot stronger.
More fit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess a result of it, I don't necessarily feel fit, but I feel strong. I can do things, I was carrying around this really heavy bag, and it never even occurred to me how heavy the bag was.
You're not from Krypton, are you?
No, she carries around a different bag. Poor thing.
I don't get it. You feel strong. You don't feel fit, but you feel strong. What?
I don't know. Probably just because she doesn't have any fucking nutrients in her, but she's lost weight and she can handle certain things. Who knows? It makes no sense. But again, weight loss and being fit are not the same thing. You could easily lose all kinds of weight and still not be healthy and not be fit.
I think, I, for one, know I'm not strong in the sense of like upper body strength. Like I watch my daughter at gymnastics, climb a rope up to a ceiling. You couldn't get me an inch. And I remember being able to do monkey bars and stuff when I was a kid.
Yeah, that was such a thing. Yeah.
I can't do it now. She can do like 3 rows of them and like nothing. Mm-hmm. Like that's strength, So I get what she's saying about being strong. But I don't understand how you're you can't. How can you be strong without being fit? That doesn't make any sense to me.
No idea. I mean, I think it's mentally she's so fucked up. She's decided, like I mentally she doesn't feel fit. So physically, same shit. She's equating one with the other. That's the only thing I can draw from that. And again, they're going to go into the betrayal thing in a minute, guys.
I can't fly.
What would they do for you in order for you to run the San Francisco Marathon? It must be
they
something.
would collect funds, and those funds would go to the 15 Foundation.
I see.
We'd be their lead charity, apparently. We're in negotiations.
I see.
Oh, it
All
sounds
right.
so.
Well.
She sounds so thrilled and enthused now about all of this. Listen to the tone. Yeah. Would just be like doing this thing and the negotiation. She doesn't sound like that person who we were listening to through this whole saga that made these really pronounced statements about charity throughout.
And that was 5 months previous, guys. If someone's that much of a fucking charity dilettante that they act like that 5 months later.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're treating it like
criminal.
email spam.
Those AOL CD-ROMs used to get.
God damn.
Good luck to you.
Good luck is right.
It sounds like
You're talking about running through San Francisco? Are you crazy?
San Francisco's very hilly. I just remind you.
I know. Believe me, I know.
New York is bad enough. San Francisco's monstrous.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? If Robin ran the San Francisco Marathon, maybe she could take a shit and piss right on somebody's lawn like she said she did that one time.
Oh, God,
remember?
that was the worst story.
She'd fit right in now.
Well, yeah, and in this particular show, absolutely. Wasn't the one where she tried to get to work and she had an accident? Well, I won't talk about it because it'll get you disgusted. But
yeah,
the one you're talking about is when she used the garden hose.
A hose. Yeah, that would be totally normal now because the homeless in San Francisco just piss and shit everywhere now. And that's acceptable.
Lovely. Oh, I thought you meant just the scat talk on the show being what it is.
No, I meant literal people pissing and shitting all over the street in certain cities.
It's fertilizer.
Something to think about.
I just look around San Francisco and I'm exhausted.
Yeah, walking San Francisco is enough.
Hello, Frisco.
He'd be. I just picture the opening of Full House. And he's at a bus stop sleeping. He's so exhausted.
Right. That's right. That's absolutely right.
And when you see, like now when you're in the park, sometimes you see those runners from Africa.
Yeah.
Amazing bodies. Of course
Right.
I can't do that. Look at them.
Okay, first of all, marathon runners don't have amazing bodies. They're amazing athletes, but that's not the same thing. A gymnast has an amazing body. Like a track star has an amazing body, but they're, athletic. Okay, fine. But I wouldn't say amazing. They're such.
It's so shallow.
She's not fit.
Not fit. Well, why then, Robin? I mean, it's weird to me. Like, if this is your entire purpose, which was what you've been saying, and you're also making everybody else in your work environment try to get fit, shoving green drink down their fucking throat.
Big time.
And you're saying yourself you don't feel fit? I mean, what?
I forgot all about that. Because you're right. That's happening in conjunction with all of this.
Yeah, so
and it's been happening for a couple of years.
Listen to me to get fit and tips and advice. But you know what? I don't feel fit.
Oh, man.
You can do anything. You're a superwoman.
They just look like they were born to run, as Bruce Springsteen must have said when he saw them.
Maybe you were born to run. Well,
and yes, I have determined now that it was a betrayal.
Oh. Well, when are you going to talk to me?
Betrayal with a little b, not a big B.
When are you going to talk to me?
What the fuck is that supposed to mean? What the fuck does that even mean?
A little b, not a big B. That is very immature language. And for somebody her age to assess something like that and that couch it that way is embarrassing.
So what do you think? Between yesterday, the day before, and today, someone's told her, "Look, you never had a fucking chance, you fucking fat blob piece of shit. You were deluded. You deluded yourself, and get with it." Sorry.
I think the realization of her delusion might be washing over her a little bit, so it took it down from a big B to a little B.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my Lord. Like Bell Hooks, the way she spells her name.
It's still not even a B to begin with. It's a D for dolt.
D for dolt, D for denial, D for dipshit. You name it, guys. There's loads of Ds. Yeah.
Got it.
I haven't this is how busy this keeps me.
Yeah.
I don't have time to talk.
Well, I feel like you're avoiding the conversation.
I'm not avoiding any conversation.
Right.
My dear, I love you, and I would always talk to you.
No. I don't know.
But I had to get that straight in my head first. And somebody said something to me yesterday, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, if you look at it that way.
Well, you had time to talk to somebody about it.
Yeah, you weren't dating the guy, so, it doesn't matter who he fucks, and it doesn't matter if someone slid into home plate before you.
Did you ever establish you were boyfriend and girlfriend? No. Did you ever say you were faithful to one another? No. Did you ever kiss? No. Did you ever fuck? No. So why, in this immense amount of time you've spent together with nothing but a platonic relationship, but you wanting something on the other end but not getting it, think that you deserve it, one, and two, think that you can somehow manipulate somebody else into giving you what you want, that you deserve that, even if the other person doesn't want it. You let that happen to you.
Yes. So, but do you believe deep down inside she thought, okay, he's going to feel obligated to fuck her as a pity fuck because, right?
No, I think she thought she could. No, what I said in the last part of this was I think she thought she could get her way into a controlling, bearded sort of relationship that Howard has. I mean, different because Robin would actually be physically attracted and fuck the person versus Wiggy, who's been with Ralph, we think, all these years. But I do think that she thought, I can do this with Brendan. And she didn't get what she wanted. And she thought Brendan would just be that, happy, servile control thing that she could control.
But I mean, like, do you think she would think she was also thinking on a peripheral level? Well, if I spend enough money, he'll feel obligated to throw me one. Yeah,
yes. And normally it's a guy doing that for a girl. Yes. And normally a girl full well knows what she's doing when she's taking advantage. Oh, you want to take me where? You want to do this for me? You're not obligated to fuck him. You know what I mean? Like, you're the sad sack who wants to do all this nice shit or take, whatever. I mean, it's a morality thing if you want to be that person and take advantage of it. But nobody said you can't. And nobody's saying you have to. And a guy who puts themselves in that situation full well knowing it's a Hail Mary shot, that's up to you.
It reminds me of that old Dice bit where he sees a couple in the crowd and he goes, first date, huh? No? Third date? Of course, the trip. They'll fuck for a trip. He goes, dinner don't even get you jerked off anymore.
Well, it's somebody I talk to on a regular basis.
I see. All right. Well, that's a good thing. You figured it out.
I don't think you would have provided a lot of clarity.
Oh, I bet I would have.
You would have just provided a lot of anger.
No, I bet I would have provided a lot of clarity.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I'll talk to you.
Yeah, I think you need clarity. That's what I think. I think you're fogged up from running.
She so knows him. She knows, like, the last person you want to talk to is this asshole about your problems.
Well, she also knows what he's going to say about it.
Oh, yeah. I told you so, he never did.
She doesn't want to hear what she knows to be true.
Oh, that's true. Absolutely. But also she knows it's not going to be like he's going to give her any comforting words. So even on the level of quote unquote friendship, he can't help.
It seems like a lot of these people she went to, though, weren't saying, I can't believe he did that to you.
Right.
I don't, you know what I mean? So that's why the big B went to a little B, because I really don't think she got a lot of echoing of her upsetness about
That's right. She didn't get a consensus. She was looking for a consensus, and everybody was like, "What
she can't find anyone."
Right? Like, were you dating? No. So, what are you upset with? And actually,
we've been trying to tell you for years.
Well, it's not like. Here's the thing. Like back in the day, I still believed it when I was single. I still believed if my buddy and I both liked the same chick. and he slid into home plate. I couldn't honestly be mad at the guy because it's the pursuit. That's what happens. That's who she chooses. You know, all's fair in love and war. But if you knew that a friend of yours was really mad, like head over heels over this chick, would you date her? And I'm like, no, I wouldn't, because especially if I didn't feel nearly as strong, I would actually take myself actively out of the equation because it would hurt my friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know loads of people say, well, fuck it. They're not dating. It's open season. I go, yeah, but there's loads of fish in the sea and there's loads of opportunities elsewhere that you don't have to do that. And you can actually still make out all right.
Now, what if Brendan became like ingrained within this Howard Stern, you know, society of people, like the people on the show or whatever, and friends of Robin, and had been hanging out all this time? Is he supposed to lose all these friends now? Like, would it be wrong of them to continue friendships with him?
Well, then we're getting into sort of the Florentine question. Like when he's dating her and then suddenly he's not, does everybody else go, oh, well, you know, he did wrong by Robin, or not even that. It's just, well, he's not with her anymore, so we can't associate with him. Most people who were already friends with him say, no, that nothing changes.
Right.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, on her end, no big deal. And Howard, of course, was so divested of the whole Brendan thing and the 15 Foundation. It's nothing for him. It wouldn't be even if they were friends or became friends, it wouldn't be anything for him to just wipe him from the slate.
Well, the Florentine thing's different because they had a relationship with Florentine beforehand.
Sure.
And so that's different. I'm saying, what if Brendan became friends? Not saying that he was, but what if Robin asked people in her life not to associate with him anymore over this? Like, would that be okay?
I don't know. I see that her dynamic and Howard's dynamic are not quite the same, because even though she's got money, she's got deep pockets, not as deep and not as, I don't think there's any.
I'm saying on a moral sense.
Yeah, I don't think there's any real ramifications. Like people would go, I think people would be less reticent to let someone go just because Robin told them they should.
If it were you and you were friends with Robin, but you were also became good friends with Brendan throughout this, would you stop talking to Brendan because Robin told you?
No.
Okay.
No, unless I thought that person did her wrong. Absolutely not.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a disconnect there. Although a lot of people, just to be sycophants, like a Shuley type person would go, yeah, fuck him. Fuck him. He did you wrong. Just to get on her good side, just to ingratiate themselves with her. I don't see it. Too many people doing that.
I'd see if they actually really dated and had a relationship and I was friends with Robin first. Yeah. I would see the point. But with this, it's weird.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. It's almost like when divorced couples and like, can you be friends with the, and one's definitely at fault. Like one of them's at fault. It wasn't a mutual parting of the ways. There was definitely an imbalance in terms of guilt. That's
like
when
an affair.
Things become, an affair, somebody, or just abusive or something like that. And that's when it makes sense to pick sides. I get that completely. So in this case, is there really a wrong? I don't think so.
No.
So, I mean, the only thing wrong is the fact that she's a fraud.
The whole architecture of this relationship is wrong. So it's a rotted core.
Oh, yeah. And the grift, like if people spotted the grift, they would, if the minute they spotted the grift, that's first thing they would do is say, okay, I got to put up with this asshole for Robin's sake. And that's the extent of it.
Yeah, they inherently knew.
Yes.
Something was rotten.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll take that little B and make it a big B.
That's what I thought you would do.
You be sure of that.
But, I did think about something you said with the running. You said, I like that you're running so much because you're like a lot less energetic.
Yeah.
And since I started tapering down the running, I'm really energetic.
Yeah, you need more running.
So now admittedly she's tapering off the running. I guarantee you, since she finds out this thing happens, she's like, fuck it, fuck the health, fuck everything. She's in a tailspin. Because
right before a marathon, that's what you do. You train less.
you stop training completely. Yeah.
Start eating more.
I was thinking, thinking you're not doing enough running. You know how Ditka surprised us when he said, hey, I'm against helmets in football?
Yes, yes.
And it made sense?
Right.
I'm for you running.
More.
Yeah, more running. I don't think you do enough. I think you run 26 miles every day. Let's talk to... No, you have tremendous energy. I've never seen anyone with a drive.
It is weird that Robin's energy, so-called energy, quote unquote, skyrocketed during this period when she was pursuing Brendan, and then completely took a nosedive after that and never recovered.
Mentally, she couldn't get over it.
It's bizarre because it's like how... So it, one, shows how her energy didn't come from doing these things. It came from such a shallow, stupid place.
Perfect word. Shallow. Yeah, she really was all about the dick. And that's the genesis of the whole thing. And the grift aspect is like the third or fourth layer of this, where he goes, let's start our own charity. Because he must have said something to her to have that happen. Because let's get involved ourselves. Let's do this. And that's the whole genesis of the grift. I mean, I get to plug my fucking shit artwork that I ripped off of people. You get to act like a big cheese and, do these stupid charity events. Then we can tie this into it and synergy and blah, blah, blah. And you manufacturing and whatever. And I'll let you believe you have a chance of getting at my unit.
Yeah, it's very obvious and transparent when you think of it in hindsight, and then just see how she has lived her life since.
Well, it was also, I think it was very obvious to most everybody at the studio from the onset, because this guy just pops up. If it had been somebody she'd been nurturing, like with the show for years and years, or a friend that became more serious and whatever, I think people would have been less hip to it.
Right.
But because people come and go out of her life, like the Dr. Ronnie thing, which is a whole other saga, that's when people go, oh, it's another one of those. It's a fad. Friend. Fad diet, fad magnets, fad fucking green drink. Oh, God. Jesus.
God.
Thank God we don't have to do shit cake. I'll have to find someone else for that.
Fillmore, you want to go do ayahuasca?
Oh, yeah, it's a brand new thing this week.
Like, it's wild. It's almost crazy. You hop on a plane and you're in L.A. and then you're back and you're running, and I almost think you should run in place during the show with a big treadmill.
That's probably true. That's what I'm saying. That now that I'm beginning to taper down, I'm like, wow, I don't really need sleep.
Well, something's going to crack. That's my prediction if you don't get more regular.
I am regular.
Get those sleep. I haven't been able to run since I broke my toe, and I'll tell you what.
Okay, yeah. We see the effects, Howard.
I'm not.
It almost seems like a bit what she's describing as mania. Very manic, like in a bipolar sense.
Yes, very much so. Like when she's down, she's down. She's not doing anything. She's in that fetal position in a wet blanket. But when she's up, she's, ready to take on the world. And then the emotional, outbursts and leaving the show. And it's just, it really portrays somebody who's bipolar and is in a state of mania and then goes into a state of depression. And you may never hear about it at all. It's just, you won't hear from them. You'll see them when they pop back up, when they get out of it, when they recover, perhaps. I'm not diagnosing Robin. I'm just saying she does display very manic behavior. Oh yeah, extreme highs and extreme lows, and maybe the weight fluctuations are a sort of symptom of that. Because people want in mania. Because I have a friend who's bipolar. It's like they do take on all of these projects, and they take on a lot of no sleep, and they're just. It's bizarre, and it's a little bit like you can't get them to settle down this. Yeah. I've got a friend who's not diagnosed. He's undiagnosed, but absolutely is bipolar. When he got into CrossFit, he wouldn't shut up about it for about 40 days. Then you never heard him talk about it again. Veganism depended on what month it was, that kind of shit. She got into marathon running, and it was,
running every day and then doing all this weird shit. And I was just like, I mean, you know,
but in quick succession, like, was it like,
yeah. And then
like
all of a
full
sudden, full on. And then it would be crash. And then you wouldn't hear from her. You had to go find out what the hell's going on and where are you? Just like drops off the face of the earth for a few weeks. And, you know, it's a vicious cycle. And I can hear some of that in Robin.
Well, I think, first of all, the whole 15 Foundation was a culmination of she's feeling better. She lost some weight. People are whispering in her ear, you should do this, you should do that. So she has an agent. She has this. She has friends saying, well, why don't you do this? Maybe just so she can get off their fucking back and keep herself busy. Then she finds she has the energy, but it's not really the energy. She doesn't have the energy. It's fake energy based on her getting attention from doing said things.
Also, it's a drive to, like, in the one episode we cover, Jason said it's because she got jealous over the 60 Minutes piece. And as much as you want to say, no, it's not, a lot of it is, she did say that it bothered her. So I think there's this undercurrent of just being always the second fiddle to somebody that she's always had to cover for, always had to placate to. And so there's a bit of that too going on.
Oh yeah, it's ego. It's ego driven, but at the very least, and also not just that this guy he's been sort of seen as the head honcho, but that he's just as much an idiot as she is.
Right. Yes.
Like they're two knobs, but one of them because was called a genius, and the other was forever called a hanger-on or sidekick.
A hole.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, the voice of reason, the voice of echo chamber shit. Anyway, we'll finish this clip and then we'll go into the marathon bullshit.
Not regular. I mean, in a literal sense.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm all backed up because when you run, everything comes out.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, well, I do miss running. This is getting real old with my foot. It's just stupid.
There's no way you could...
I think I could run. I think I could tape up my toe and just go.
Because I was talking to my trainer, and he says you really don't even use your toe, your baby.
What the fuck are you talking about? Your toes keep your balance. They help keep your fucking balance. If it's your baby toe, okay, fine.
Robert, she's a nurse, Fillmore.
Yeah.
Stop. Let the nurse speak.
Oh, yeah. When she mounts the patient, supposedly.
Baby toe.
Now, what he doesn't understand is that whenever you bear weight on your feet, you curl your toe. You curl. And what happens is, the doctor even said to me, you could probably go running, but if you curl it enough, the bone won't heal straight.
Right, but you could, like, run less and make sure you don't use that part of your foot or something.
He won't even let me
advice.
Thanks.
Or something.
Registered retard. Registered nurse. Jesus
Christ.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, you could just try it out and then, see what happens.
Yeah, why don't you go fishing in the Amazon and wear a bathing suit made of meat when the piranhas are near you?
I mean, what the fuck?
That was going to happen.
That?
Yeah.
Bike ride with this big giant boot on. So I don't know what's going on. I'm having a conversation with the doctor. I'm going to talk to him because my friend Pat said to me that...
Yeah, certainly you should be able to buy it.
That's what he said.
Your wedding speaker.
Yeah. Next clip, guys, is called More Pre-Marathon Bullshit. This is 1/11/10, November 1st, and she's about a week away from doing the marathon. Here we go.
I don't know. We didn't go to any Halloween parties or anything. We just hung out.
Yeah, I'm like a recluse now waiting for this race. Like I can't go party or do anything, and I'm just sort of sitting at home sleeping every second.
Yeah, I was thinking about you this morning, actually, because I woke up really exhausted. I was thinking, Robin must really be tired.
Yeah, Howard, what a surprise. I woke up really exhausted. Okay, so this is her preparation, by the way, guys, being in a fucking cocoon in her bed for a marathon.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that mania is tapering off because now the goal is gone.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Shiny penis has disappeared.
And yeah, now you're waiting around. Not only that, also from sort of protecting yourself. You did all this training, like don't break your toe like I did, like on some stupid thing.
Well, that's the thing. You don't go anywhere. You don't move. You're very careful of everything because now what you have to do is get to the race.
Yeah, and even if you break your toe, people go, fuck you.
It's not like you're pregnant and a doctor diagnosed you with, something wrong with you where you have to be in bed for the last trimester or else you might injure something. I mean, do you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody told you that.
If a hockey player, let's say an athlete, doesn't matter who it is, basketball, well, not baseball, fuck them, because they're mostly tubs of shit, a lot of them anyway. Strong, but you know, they're not built for this kind of thing. When you're doing anything endurance based, so skating's a lot of sprinting, but basketball, you need to be very well conditioned. Football, like a European football, soccer is what I'm talking about. If you're out of commission for any length of time, your body loses that endurance like no one's business. So you have to maintain a certain level of regular, like, you have it doesn't mean you have to do a marathon a day, but you definitely have to keep it up. Otherwise, that every day you miss, your body is losing that conditioning big time.
100%. Like, okay, it's not like football, where American football, where, okay, if a player has a big game coming up and they need them in the playoffs or something, right? You will, and say you're up ahead a bunch.
Yeah, you take them off.
You'll take them off because you don't want to chance the fact that, like, the quarterback or this person is going to get sacked or injured for the next game. Yep. Right? So that makes sense. But it's not like they don't stop training during that time period. They don't stop moving. They don't stop conditioning their body for the next battle. Robin is running a goddamn fucking marathon. She's not playing a game with somebody else.
She should at the very least be doing 10Ks just to keep herself in fighting shape for a fucking marathon. So hence why it's one of those things where she decided, I'm going to learn how to play, I don't know, Smoke on the Water in 10 days.
Pasta asciutta. Pasta, that's what I say. He's a phony Italian, Paul. He's a phony Italian? Yeah. Why, you're Napolitano? I'm Napolitano. Sure. You don't understand Sicilian. I'm Tovilla. No, nessuna me l'ha mangiata. Sì, ma ti ha mangiata tu. Nessuna me l'ha mangiata, ragazza. Ma tu ti ha mangiata. È stupato di Santa Capadonna. Tu la me l'ha